And we are live.
I like here.
How's it going today?
Ooh.
Oh yeah, so we don't have milk with us. What the fuck
Yeah.
is up, everyone?
Alright, let's quickly adjust some people's levels because some people are a bit quiet today.
Some people need to speak up.
Oh, oh there's alright, that should hopefully help. Alright, so last session was mostly focused around Burnt and his attempt with the slaying a devil single-handedly, which he is happy to report he survived.
Yep.
Just barely though.
Yeah. That was hell in a handbasket.
It was a very close call with, if we're not for the fact that we had a necklace that was like, no, you get like a second chance here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you actually did that.
Yeah.
Well, you died, but he hit negative, he hit 0, and thanks to an item he had, he got like a extra 16 health.
Yeah.
And remember to thank Nightshine for that one.
Yeah. Thank you, Nightshine.
I do believe he does want it back.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Here's the ashes of it.
Alright. So.
Looking grind to morning?
Okay, did we, so yes, it would be, because we did the bits at like midnight, and I believe there was like a little bit of a thing, minor celebration afterwards, and then everyone kind of went out and crashed and went to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, we would have done that.
Alright, so then the next day will arrive. That's YouTube, sunrise, past to dawn.
I'm trying to remember, do we actually have anything we needed to do today?
Well, you organised another meeting with the humans.
Yeah. So we have to do that.
You know what, you guys can go do that. Alright, you wanna go do your secret mission then?
Yep, that's the plan. So you guys go do that. I'm going to go get drunk in the tavern. Alone.
Lenny, when you are drunk, no one will be here to watch over you.
I know, right? It'll be great. I love being on my own, with no one to watch me.
Well, I like how everyone penalised Nightshine for that.
What? Oh yeah.
But the meeting with the humans is the main thing that you had planned. So if you're going back out, what I will recommend is to work out what you guys are planning to go out and discuss, and what you are wanting to do. Because I think Milkfist was a little bit more of the behind the scenes influence with that. So
Yeah.
you guys probably want to work out what you want to go and what you want to say.
We shall talk about what we shall say 1 hour before leaving. Which will be now.
Like we will also say. By the way, while I'm not doing that, could you please, mention the demon?
Yeah.
I don't think they are interested in the demon. Neither will believe us.
I don't think it'd be so super.
We were planning on having that be one of our talking points. I can't remember if it was this week or if we could try to stall again with that another day.
There was one idea I had in mind. If
Yeah.
we are trying to start for time, we could ask them to wait for us to finish checking on terms to see if they were true about not destroying the city. That will give time for the army to get inside.
Actually, Burns sort of gives a nod at that and goes, that's actually a fair point.
I don't think they would allow us to check out another town.
Well, it brings up how they absolutely destroyed another tower and that we won't believe them until we see it with our own eyes.
Mhm.
Oh,
It's a fair point.
let me remind you that as far as I can see, you think they're going to let you. I mean, it's worth a shot, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, they, as a show of good faith, they released prisoners.
Yeah. I think that's the best good face we're gonna get right now.
Yeah, that's also a fair point.
And you don't forget that they have an army there right now. So like, oh yeah, we have the advantage. We'll wait for you to go check out this area.
Well, what's your plan to stop for time? I'm listening.
Well, we have our talking points. Like we've mentioned that we are willing to have their representatives actually meet up with the council to talk and such. And we were also having our plans of stalling their whatchamacallit, their scout party. So that would prevent news from traveling.
I really don't think there's. I, okay, I really don't think we should bother with the scout parties. They will be here in like 2 days, the main army, and it won't make a difference.
We could just try to hold out for as long as we can until the army comes and actually reinforcements. Like,
Well, the army will be reaching the destination, I believe, either today or tomorrow. The issue they have is moving the army to the city, because obviously moving that large amount of people is obvious, especially on a flat plane, and you need to move them in a way where if you move them in formation ready to fight, they're going to move a lot slower, and are probably going to be tired by the time they actually reach their destination, because obviously you're not walking in a straight line, you're spreading them out. So they need to make the move at the right time, because the last thing they need is to be caught out of position with the humans making a surprise attack or utilising the horseback and trying to flank them or anything like that.
we have a milk
Is here. The advisor here is here.
Hello, you are muted.
Yes, I'm scrambling and beating myself up for being a dumbass. Again.
It's okay.
I have 2 alarms set, one to wake me up and one to remind me on Friday, Steel's game. I freaking neglected it. I apologize.
It's alright.
How dare you?
The alarm went off. Oh, what the earth that's going off for? Meh.
So did we die yet?
Not yet.
We didn't do anything yet.
Most people, at the moment, they were discussing the plans for today, which is going back out to meet the human forces, and I was getting them to talk about and work out what they were going to talk about, as you were their main pusher for ideas. So I was making sure they went in with a clear plan on what they wanted to talk about.
Okay.
So we've only been streaming for about 5-ish minutes. No, 12 minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. In that case, what the buck is up, everybody?
Late arrival.
Okay, so last week we were discussing how we're going to continue buying time for the army because we need to buy them at least 2 more days, 1 day to arrive, 1 day to rest before the fighting begins. So we need to stall them for a minimum of 2 more days. There's the topic of the demon we could bring up. The main thing we were going to discuss at our meeting today is how the still open for the officer to come in and speak directly with the council. I expect he'll still decline. But I think the main thing that will buy us time today is if we try to negotiate refugees leaving the city. So that way the civilians who don't want to fight or are incapable of fighting can leave.
Okay, yeah, the rest I forgot. I was like, I knew there was something else we had.
Yes, so the demon, the officer bringing an honor guard inside the city so he can speak with the council directly, and the refugees are going to be the main topics of discussion today with the officer. But our main goal here is to simply buy time. So whether he agrees or declines is irrelevant. We just need to buy them 2 more days. There was also the covert mission, because where we left off last week, it was still in the middle of the night. Not Ember. Our Chaos Knight, our nearly knighted Chaos Knight, Requiem. Requiem had just completed the trial and has earned the right to wear the armor and reforge the Chaos Knights. Also, since you're here, Milk Thistle would come up to you, Burned, and let you know that your master did send a message back.
Oh, is everything alright?
I'm looking at the DMs between Skill and I don't think he wrote it out to me here. I typed it down somewhere.
I thought I sent it to you someone. I'm sure I sent you a message.
But it's not, I don't see it in our DMs, which is...
Oh, it's
In-game?
it's in-game.
Oh, in-game, okay.
It should be right at the bottom. It's the last thing you said. It should be just below it. I can see it.
So the message I sent to Swift Victory, your son has reforged the Chaos Knights and passed the Infernal Challenge by defeating a devil in one-on-one combat. You should be proud.
There, and there should be something just below it, which is my whisper to you.
Oh, in-game. That's why I can't find it.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting that the other channel you built for us, the End Times, has the link. That's what I was scrambling for.
Ah. Oh yeah, you're not in.
Okay. Loading in now. Random pool guy, join the session. While that's being pulled up, the other idea we had was the covert mission between Ember and Lord Weasel. Lightning, is that still something you want to do?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Then I think we can do that because it's, time-wise, it's still in the middle of the night.
Yeah. And, Bird is gonna say, yeah, I had a nightmare as well after I drank that tea last night.
Well, if you want to do, hang on, sorry to interrupt you, but if you want to do the mission, we'll probably do that first before you guys share morning info.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. As far as the response, I have that message back for you here. Your father, Swift Victory, responds, "Tell him I am proud of him, for I am not sure I will see him again to tell him. Things here are getting worse."
Oof.
I'm afraid I have no other details than that short message.
Alright.
Wait,
I have...
Alright, so, Lightning, you still want to go on that solo mission with Lord Weasel to go and retrieve a bird the army are using as messengers?
Yeah. I do think that's a bad idea and that we shouldn't do it.
You're changing your mind all of a sudden, Nightshine. Why do you think it's a bad idea now?
Well, I was never fully convinced, and the more I think about it, I, do, I can't imagine we gaining anything of this, and if things go wrong, things will really go wrong, because we still need to talk with them tomorrow, and after tomorrow.
True.
So he's indicating that if things go bad, you might destroy your delaying tactics.
That is a very
And
good point.
uh, I
Yeah.
do need to ask, what do you think we are gaining from this?
Well, as I mentioned at the meeting, if we're able to capture the birds that they're using to transport messages back and forth, we will either interrupt those messages so that they can't see the army coming up from the south, or we have a chance to decipher what they're feeding to the general at the front line.
The main army will be here in 2 days, so I don't think deciphering will help. I don't see them changing messages doing that. And if it is about not letting them know that we have an army approaching, there are much better ways of doing that, like using our flyers to intercept the birds as they fly over.
Do we have flyers who are quick enough to catch them in midair?
Not to mention, they might also have mages using messages.
I have fireball if they fly too fast.
Oh, jeez.
Well, that would be sending a very powerful signal. The idea was to keep things as discreet as possible.
I don't think they have eyes inside the city. They probably won't see a fireball. The city is big enough.
I will point out the birds will not be flying at city level; they will be flying at bird level, high in the sky.
Yeah,
And that means you'll be firing a fireball up in the sky, which will explode.
A bit sickening.
I mean, at night it'll be more obvious. During the day, it may be missed.
Do we have cloud cover right now?
Oh, today's weather is. That is the moon, yes. Weather, clear one. Scattered clouds, but mostly clear today.
If we get some Pegasi who can use the Cloud Walker ability, they might be able to ambush the birds waiting in the clouds. But if the clouds are too sparse, the birds might not be close enough for them to ambush them.
The issue is, Pegasi can no longer play with clouds.
Yeah.
Right? They can't push them around, but they can walk on them. Correct?
Nope. They have lost the weather manipulation ability, and that is also affects their sitting on top of clouds, I'm afraid.
Oh,
Quite
Yes.
how unfortunate.
Yeah. Damn those elves.
I've never seen them do it, but I have read about them doing it before. I didn't know that ability was lost to them.
Yes, it was lost roughly 40, 50 years ago.
Shortly after the Queen's death, correct?
Around that time, yes.
Well, if you think it's too much of a risk, then we can at least focus on buying time.
yeah.
There was still the option of communicating with the Queen. She might have some insight if Steele would be willing to let us.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
You would just have to convince Steele for you guys to open up the Queen's tomb and cast necromancy on the Queen.
I'm sure he'd let us do it. He's a paladin. That's what they do now.
Necromancy in and of itself is not a
Inherently
violation.
evil.
No.
Yes.
I'm sure it goes completely past efficiency.
What do you think she'll tell us?
I think Steele would be incredibly protective over her body. He would likely tell us no, and we would have to be very convincing.
Yep.
But we won't know unless we do that.
This is very true.
you guys can ask without me then. I don't really want much part in that nasty business.
It is the middle of the night, and tomorrow is a long day.
You can ask him first thing in the morning. I mean, you guys, when you come back, he's still stood there, guarding like normal.
I imagine Steel is the kind of guard who's mastered that sleep technique where you're half awake, half asleep, so your mind rests, but you're still alert.
Yeah, that's a very tough technique to master, though.
He's had time.
Yeah.
I wish I had that ability. I could do that like all day.
If we were to speak to the Queen, knowing that a lot of the magical abilities of this kingdom have been taken from us, I think an important question would be to ask her, how can we get them back?
I don't think it'll be easy.
Certainly not.
Remember, the Queen will only be able to answer questions that she will know the answer of. If the magic was taken after her death, she wouldn't even know it's gone. So,
And how long does Speak with Dead last?
you get so many questions per caster level, so it's not minutes. So basically, what you do is you rapid fire your questions and you get your answers. That's how it works. So you can, I can't remember what level. It depends what level you cast it at. Say you got 6 questions. You ask all 6 of your questions, and then the spell fizzles. It technically the spell lasts long enough for you to ask those number of questions. So you don't really have time to ask a question, see what the answer is, debate what you want to ask again, and then ask, because it's over in a matter of rounds.
Nightshine, you've been slowly building up a rapport with Styx. Maybe he or another worshipper of that religion would be willing to cast the spell.
Oh, you're willing to entertain me enough.
It is a basic.
It
It is a basic cleric spell, so you can any cleric can basically cast it as long as they know level 3 spells.
Requiring only over summon duration.
Okay, it's 1 minute per level. Its duration, and during that time you can ask 1 question per 2 caster levels. So you do have enough time to ask a question, see what it is, and then decide. But I will time you.
So yeah, we probably have our questions written out.
Yeah, you probably have at least 1 or 2 questions pre-written, and then some spare for you to ask as you were going. But this will be one of those ones where I will literally time you, and it will be all in character.
If we wish to pursue this, we could do it in the morning, after we've had a chance to get some rest and before the meeting.
Yeah, that would be wise.
Yeah, the meeting will not be until midday, as that was what the time was arranged.
Yes, and the covert mission still could go, but of course there will be risks.
I don't think it's worth it at all.
If we're not going to do it tonight, then I think what we should do is find the route that the birds are taking and know where the scout teams are. If we can do some recon and learn their paths, then when the fighting actually does kick off, then we can start intercepting the birds.
That's actually not a bad idea.
That is what the General Army actually started to do after the meeting. Well, after you guys spoke about it, they said they would look into the possibility of interception, and it would be because they would look to intercept it over the city rather than going out. So it is something they have been would have started to look into yesterday.
We could also ambush the scouting parties and allow the army to slip by.
Well, the
I
scouting
think
party,
that would be an act of aggression, and I don't think we want to do that right now.
By the time we're doing that, then we have the army at our doors anyway, so like...
right, plus the scouting teams are in teams of 10.
Yeah.
I think we can take down 10 people.
We don't know their skill level.
Yeah.
If they were simple, basic soldiers, I've no doubt we could handle them easily.
We put down a pirate crew, so...
I mean, the pirate crew was they're easier to dispatch, though. They were, what, 10 only, with no other ships around?
The hard
At the
crew
same
were
time, we have an entire army there. We don't know their strength. Like, they could be a bunch of scrubs, or they could be the elite fucking guards.
alright. I do believe Nightshine makes a good point. It's probably too much of a risk of aggression currently. So let us give the army some time to route the scouts as well as the birds that fly over the city. And then once we decide the time of aggression has come, then we'll begin intercepting and killing them. For now, I recommend we get some sleep, and we'll meet with Skill first thing in the morning.
Okay. Okay then. So I will unpause, and I will assume everybody will meet up in the All Seasons Temple, ready to talk to Steel.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure, we'll go back to the skeleton.
So, in the morning, obviously, wherever you guys all run off to sleep, you will all gather where the author's book is. Once you all have arrived, I assume then en masse, you will go and talk to Steel.
Yep. Where's Lightning this morning?
In Alexandra's bed.
Okay. Alexandra,
Oh,
I believe you left your partner in the bed. Might need to rouse her.
hang on. I'll drag Lightning over so it make Lightning's life a little bit easier. Whee, you're over here.
Oh, dude, outside the city walls. What is she?
Yeah, I was wondering like she was there, to be fair.
I think I shoved you there last week when you weren't here, so you wouldn't
We're
get.
really doing these scout missions.
So, am I still in this? The what?
I think they're holding off for the time being,
Okay.
but it's still on the cards as a maybe.
I'm gonna go look pretty then.
You always do.
Alright, so you all meet up at the author's book and ready to go and speak to Steel.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And off you trot towards him.
Alexandra, you mentioned that you would not wish to be present for this. Does this mean you will not be joining us?
That would be correct.
Very well.
What do you think? Oh, right, with visiting. Right, with visiting what's her girlfriend for, yeah, without.
I mean,
Alexandra is not a fan of necromancy, it seems.
Yeah.
it's fine. Don't use raise dead on him then. Then he won't be upset.
Honestly, I'm more. Even if I was against that stuff, I'd probably look away this one time, considering just how important it is.
Well, I assume then, Lightning, you're going to go along, even if it's just to see if you can get a look at the Queen.
Yeah. Like, hey, can I go back to your fucking castle? That's pretty much what you're gonna ask.
Alright, so
In there.
so you all approach Steel. He will give you a polite smile and a nod. Then, when it becomes clear that you're actually walking towards him, he will greet you with a good morning.
Good morning, Steel.
How did your trial go?
Well, I'm still standing, and in fact, he unbuckles the long sword that Steel loaned him and offers it back to him.
He will.
Thank you. It really saved my life.
He will take it. He gives a nod and goes, "I'm happy it helped, but you did not answer my question. How did it go? I see you are alive, but that does not mean you succeeded, or it could be a sign that you lived but failed."
I succeeded, yes. It was a very, very close call, and he sort of rubs the back of his head a bit with one of his arms.
Trials are never meant to be easy. They are meant to challenge us and test us to make sure what we truly want is what we want. If it was easy, then everybody would strive for it.
Yes, this is true. But yeah, it was a. I definitely survived, sent that thing packing.
Well, I give you my congratulations, and hope that the Chaos Knights find you as a worthy companion.
Gives a nod. we we have a question for you, Steele.
I will answer if I can.
He Burn looks to Vessel and back to him. We need to speak with the Queen.
He looks over to where the Queen is at rest, and then looks back at you. She's in not the sort of condition that she would be able to answer questions, but there's a high chance that I may know the answer to your questions. If you ask, I will see if I can answer.
Do you know what caused the magic of our kingdom to dissipate, and how it can be returned?
Which magic?
Well, for example, the Pegasi no longer being able to walk on the clouds and control the weather.
That's something related to the elves. There was a large military force that was sent out across the ocean to attempt to get whatever they stole from the Pegasi back. I'm unsure of the exactly what happened with the military force, but it was a good size of what was left of the Empire's army. But given that you're asking me it, I assume that they failed.
It would seem so. I understand it won't happen right away, but we do need to restore the lost power that our people have had.
That would require a trip across the ocean to the Elven lands, and investigating what happened there.
Do you know what they stole? Because as far as I knew, this was an inherent ability that they once possessed. It wouldn't be a simple trinket that was taken.
No, they took obviously all Pegasi's abilities to manipulate the weather, as well as obviously walking on clouds. I do not know how they achieved this, but I believe that was one of the things that was attempted to be looked into at the time. But I removed myself from the situation before any news returned. If any forces returned, then they would have landed at the harbour they set from, which was I'll remember names of places, Matt. Cerulean Tides.
Thistle pulls out the map. We were just there. I remember a dwarf being on the city council, but there was no mention of elves. Are elves still considered the enemies of Everglow?
Not as far as I'm aware, but like I said, have been out of the picture for some time. I suppose there are still those who might hold a grudge, but it's been a fair amount of time. A lot of Pegasi may have just got used to it, as weather manipulation was a rather specialist skill that took years of dedicated training to actually fully utilize to your full advantage. Most Pegasi can pick up a ball full of cloud and lay on it, but that's about it. Full weather manipulation, like I said, took years of practice.
Well, this was before my time. I can't say I harbor a grudge, but I can't tolerate things of our people being taken. Once the human army is dealt with, perhaps we'll send an envoy to the elves to see if we can open up an avenue of conversation to have that returned to us. How large was the elven force?
I honestly do not know. There was no military force that was sent to Everglow. It just, one day, any sort of weather manipulation stopped, and nothing worked, or at least for the Pegasi, like it's supposed to. Through many means, it was discovered that the elves had taken control of this, and that's when a military force was gathered and vessels were constructed and the armies were sent out to sea.
Did they ever return?
Like I said, I left before any news of what happened to them reached me. So, as far as I'm aware, no.
GMs, trying to recall, did Cerulean Tide ever mention a previous fleet being sent out to sea and never returning? Because I do know we talked about they used to have a very impressive fleet and then it just went away.
Yeah, I mean, it was slightly hinted at regards to why there's loads of skilled crafters and stuff there, and they were called in for constructing a very grand fleet for the Empire, but no like finite details were given. But it sounds like what's going on or what happened at Silurian Tides is obviously the leftover of that particular event.
Okay. Well, I think that's something that will require our future attention.
Yeah, most definitely. Definitely something to look into.
Well, given that, we will have to make contact with the elves eventually. We'll have to return to Cerulean Tide when we get the opportunity.
I mean, I don't know. We can't really fix all of the problems that the world has faced since before we were born.
No, but we can reforge industry and build back up with what we have. If the elves have stolen from us, they're required to return it.
That is a demon on its own. But I think you are beating around the bush here, Milk.
Well, still has essentially answered our question. So given that, I don't think we need to bother the Queen's Spirit at this time, unless anyone has anything else that they think we could gather from her.
Offhand, I do not.
Anyone? No. Okay.
We could, is there a way to get back into the Everglow console and stuff? You know, the one with the portal? If you can fix that out, other than just reading ideas, because that's really not helpful.
Milk Thistle goes over to Lightning and he shows her the map. So if you click on player map, you'll be able to see what I'm looking at. We've discussed this previously with Steel Lightning, and he did point out multiple entrances to that realm, and we marked them on the map with these orange dots. The nearest one...
Different entrance it'll lie.
Not only are there different entrances, but these they can also be used as exits. So you can enter through one and exit out the other. We haven't discovered how, but we know it's possible.
Yeah, this probably help.
So if I go through a different one, I won't be kicked out.
You have tried entering the city through a different one, and you knew it did not let you enter. So
Okay.
you have already tried to get through a different entrance, and it did not work.
Is there a way to lift that off of Lightning and Alexandrite so they could re-enter again?
Yes, that would be very helpful.
I don't know, we could just wait a year.
I know it. If the Queen pardoned you, then I believe that should work.
Okay.
It's possible, but I do not know if that required just her word or a ritual of sorts, as there would have been a mark left upon you to indicate that you're not welcome. Or it's possible that she has to do something with the stones themselves, be that the stones recognise who you are and bar you from entering.
Can we try?
He looks at you and goes, I'm not going to allow you to disturb the Queen to ask for forgiveness for something that you have done wrong against her.
I didn't do anything wrong against her, that's the thing.
Then how did you become banished?
That stupid chest. I accidentally bumped it and I got kicked out.
Roll me bluff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, accidentally, huh?
You can make it blind so you don't know how well you did. Have I moved over all of Steel's stats, or am I going to have to load up Hero Labs? I get the bad feeling I only bothered his combat ones. Yeah, I only did his combat ones. Okay. Hero Labs. So you're going to try and bluff a Paladin.
I mean, I'm a rogue. I have a
Yeah.
big
I mean, you out of the party members, you are possibly the one who would stand the best chance. And I can't remember how much I put him into being able to pick out things. Oh wait, he's wearing that armour though. Does that give him a bonus?
I know, he's got an anti-bullshit armor. He's got the SWAT armor.
Well, if you're protecting the Queen, you have armour to help detect lies and see the truth.
The simp armor.
There we go. Is this the right one? Yes, it is. Right, skills. Sense motive. Okay. Well, I'll do a hidden roll anyway, just to roll. But he has.
Is it like 20 or something? Just tell me.
I can't. I will not be telling you his stats. Alright, so he gives you a frown and goes, I'm certain that you did more than just bump into the chest.
Well, look, whatever I did to the chest, it was not with malicious intent or anything like that.
And what intent did you have?
Trying to find something that would help us deal with, oh, I don't know, the multiple people trying to kill us or destroy the world. He's not lying.
Yeah, I know you're not. He just sort of looks at you, so you were attempting to look through her belongings.
Yeah. No.
Yes, I was trying to pick the fucking chest. I wasn't like I was doing it to spite her or anything. You understand. You understand that why I would do that, right?
I understand why others do choose to break into things, yes.
Oh, come on, don't tell me I'm the one.
But this is not something that I will disturb the Queen for.
Seriously, it's like the safest place in the entire country right now.
And as a formidable fighter, then it is not a place that you need to hide.
I wouldn't say that. I'm not exactly a formidable fighter to begin with. No.
And Milkthistle puts a hoof on Lightning's shoulder, and he talks to Steel. Steel, if not for us, then please consider the refugees. We're going to be speaking with the enemy officer today to try to convince him to let thousands of civilians who are unable or unwilling to fight leave our city. We do know that there is an entrance east of here for a few days' travel. If we can get those civilians there safely and they can gain safe harbor into the Queen's realm,
Oh?
we can possibly transport them using the other stones. If we can communicate to the Queen to learn how to manipulate the stones, we can move the civilians to a safe place. And we can likely overcome this enemy a lot easier.
Well,
And then...
he goes, well, with that you just need one of the controlling stones. Then you can manipulate it.
If you don't know where these controlling stones are, the Queen likely does.
They were given out to normally those who were in trusted positions who would leave and who would enter and leave the place. So you'll be looking at anyone within the upper realms, the students, as well as a number of the more higher ups within the realm. If you know of any of those, then you are likely to find one of the particular stones. They were a simple stone at first looking upon it, but there was a hidden rune marking on them. When used detect magic, it would show up.
Were these stones small enough to be placed into a ring?
No, they were normally larger than that. I mean, if you held, he gives an idea. Basically, it's sort of something which would fit in your hoof, type of thing. It might be possible to chip it down, but I wouldn't have thought down to a ring size. No.
Because we haven't come across the symbol of the students before. We know that in Galloping Dam, the southern mayor has a ring with the sigil of the students on it.
Yes, most of them had something to identify them. Some were rings, bracelets, so that would be a symbol of their position.
Looking at the...
He goes, I myself had a badge.
Looking at the map, I see that the entrances are fairly close to places where these students and their descendants likely lived. Galloping Dam is close to one, Cerulean Tide's another, Wovenheim another, and even here in Villager Town. A few of these I'm not so sure about because this one to the east is almost evenly in the middle between Caddistone and Evan Silk, and down in the southwest between Daydream and Hulonga.
They were placed so that they were normally within a few days of travel of any major, any important settlement or region. So ease of quick travel.
Milkthistle is looking very intently at the map. If we are able to get the civilians out, I think we need to reroute them. Instead of heading east to the nearest portal, I think they should head south to Galloping Dam. We'll have to send word along with them.
Well,
and see if we can deal with the southern or the.
If you get them all into the city, and then have somebody activate the other circle, then when people leave, they will leave by the most recent one activated.
That's
Which
true.
is weird. The very first time we were inside the what was the Queen's Retreat, and we met that Doom Rider. We followed his tracks until last where we left, but we didn't see him outside or any trail of him at all.
I cannot answer that one, I'm afraid.
At the very least, this does give me a new idea. We don't have to negotiate for the refugees. They can simply use the Mithril map to teleport them away.
That, wow, that's actually pretty ingenious.
That has been brought up in the council meetings. You don't have enough resources to get everybody out. You don't have enough resources to get even a small portion of the populace out, because you either need lapis lazuli to operate it, or somebody of high enough spell casting to operate it.
Okay, I thought it was simply a command word and the map was powered on its own.
No, it does require the lapis
Alright.
and a spellcaster.
Being that's the case, I think we should try to get the refugees to travel south toward Galloping Dam, and then see if we can have the southern mayor use the stone to activate that map, or activate the location down here to teleport them in.
I don't think I will manage to travel to the forest.
Unless someone were to go with them and make sure that they were safe.
No, you would need a lot of people going with them.
If you're moving a population, that's a lot of people moving. That will attract a lot of attention.
Yeah.
It would. But on the other hoof, if they travel south, they'll encounter the army as they're traveling north towards us.
Couldn't they go around their forest?
No, they went
They
through
could,
it. They met issues travelling through with the tracks line being blocked and stuff, which they had to clear to get through it. But they went through the forest via the tracks, which is meant to be the most clearest route.
there's no easy way to do this.
Yeah, there never is.
But bear in mind, you are talking about moving a good, 60,000 people in this city? Maybe more?
At the very least, it's worth negotiating to buy us time.
But yes, if you want to manipulate the stones, that would be the best way to go about it. If you know of a student, then it is highly likely that that they may still have one of the original stones.
I can't remember his name, but he was the portly South Mayor from Galloping Dam.
Didn't we have someone who was a student here?
If we do, they're not on the council.
There has been, I think when you spoke to the people from Galloping Dam, they did indicate that there was a student who went to Villager Town, but it's kind of clear that there doesn't seem to be one, as far as you can tell.
They could just be hiding.
Yeah.
I imagine the ring would be, drawing a lot of attention, so they're probably being discreet.
Yeah.
And they would be,
I don't.
Lightning,
Go ahead.
I suppose say, Lightning, who's lived here, has never known of a student. There's always been the council.
Well, I mean, they just might not be the council. Like, someone could have a job that's not like high end.
Yeah.
So we're doing
yeah, because it's been so many years. It's likely a descendant of a former student.
Lightning, not Lightning, Nightshine, what were you about to say?
Not important.
Okay.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing to be more gathered here, I say we just prepare for the meeting this afternoon.
Yeah.
All right. No objections. We move on, I suppose.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Still, we'll wish you a good day.
As we were all walking out, Bird is going to look to Milk Thistle and say, well, I had a nightmare last night, quite a weird one, in fact. I dreamt that I was incredibly itchy, and as I was scratching, my skin and flesh began to pull away. I remember screaming and scratching as it was like I morphed into this odd hairless bipedal creature. It's not so much horrifying, just really confusing and very bizarre.
What else can you tell me about this creature? What did it look like?
I did not get a good look. Just bipedal, hairless, skeleton eggs.
Like the human?
I believe so. Yes. That's what I can only gather from the dream.
And you became this creature.
Yeah.
What actions did you take while you were this creature?
I don't remember. All I remember is the scratching and the flesh peeling away and screaming as I scratched.
Were there any voices or any symbols or colors in your dream you can recall?
No, not offhand.
All right. Still, I'm going to roll Interpret Dream to see if I can figure out what this meant.
There's numerous interpretations of these sort of aspects. The transformation can be seen as basically changing from something old to something new. So basically, the aspect of what he's just achieved could be related to this. The fact of his flesh peeling away from scratching and stuff could indicate it was of great effort, great pain, great sacrifice, or there's obviously great pain, great sacrifice to come. Again, depending if it's more previously or forward. It being a bipedal creature can be seen as odd. Many people refer to themselves becoming other types of animals or creatures. Bipedal is possible, as there's not just humans, there are many hairless bipedal creatures. So what they become isn't always important, but in this case, it could possibly represent the human army, maybe, in regards to if it's that whatever they do could be obviously painful, a lot of effort, and it will transform the pony kind even into something.
Clearly, it's just Burns coming out as a skin tona.
Oh God. That sounds painful.
Yeah. Look, we just get him to some conventions, get him out of the system.
Well, Milk Thistle, as you're describing this dream, has opened his book with the nightmare symbol on it, and he writes down your dream inside of it, and then begins flipping back toward the front of the book for cross references. And he tells you this dream is very unclear. Most of them are very hard to pin down as any one clear message. But it seems to be a message of transformation. There are other creatures besides humans that are bipedal and hairless, but there's no doubts that the humans here are going to be causing great transformation, and this is going to be a trial of great pain and sacrifice for you. So gird your loins and sharpen your mind, and be ready for it.
Worse.
You know, there are some bipedal creatures we met, besides the humans. I think?
We've met dwarves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I recall the centaurs, but they were not bipedal.
No, they were, centaurs are normally quadrupedal.
Yeah. I
Oh.
I think you might have met. Well, there's definitely gnomes in the Villager Town. Not many of them, but there's a small community of them. So you would have very rarely maybe seen one of those. Dwarfs is definitely something that have cropped up. I think
Okay.
I think you might have spotted an elf or maybe a human when you went and visited the druids in Prisma, as there was a whole mixture of different races in the druidic tree there.
I remember now. That's Holly Belgium.
It, Burton sort of looks to Nightshine and he blinks and he's like, I'm sorry, what dungeon?
Do you remember that remnant place we went? And we had to put that weird clothes, and apparently they were not made for quadrupeds like us.
Uh, I think I do, yeah.
Maybe we are remnant.
The place with the gases that.
Hmm. Maybe.
I think ruminants are still quadrupeds, just that they have a different body structure than us.
Yeah, they are still quadrupeds.
We ran into a ruminant, so
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the dream itself was pretty vague and unclear.
ruminants still have fur, so.
Yeah. More so unclear and vague than usual.
What if they are naked remnants?
Uh, they still walk on four legs, Nightshine.
Well, Nuthistle communicates with one of the temple servants, and he asks them to prepare some tea for him. And this time he's going to make hibiscus tea for the meeting. But
Yeah.
after... Yes, Nashon.
Please say make tea for them.
Of course I will. Tea
Why?
always, because tea always makes a meeting go better.
Hibli.
Speaking of tea, I think I'm gonna grab some because I'm super tired.
I'm gonna grab coffee then.
All
While
right.
they go off to get their tea and coffee, Nuthistle looks over to Burned, and he frowns at him. Burned, you are not properly dressed.
He sort of lifts the back of his head. Right. Yes, I suppose I should go get that armor then.
Claim your birthright, and meet us at the gate when you're ready.
Quite so. And with that, he is going to head back to the Unification Hall's ruins.
Yep.
And right, I still have to roll linguistics for this. Let's see. Blind. Sets of background. and he's going to repeat the phrase, the code phrases.
Okay, it takes you a few attempts, but you eventually able to get the right sound, and the door will open.
He is going to descend from the stairs, and as he does so, he uses the command word to light the torches. That's another linguistics roll.
That one, it came a little bit easier.
And he is going to take his armor and all his equipment off, set him on the ground, and then he's going to enter the armory to don his new armor.
Alright, so when placing the armour on your body and strapping it on, it does not fit as comfortably as you would hope, but the moment you place the final piece of armour upon yourself, it then becomes a lot more comfortable, almost like it's you were meant to wear it.
Yep. And once he gets the Chaos Knight armor on, he is going to grab his actually he's gonna set his old armor in the armory for now. But he's gonna get his saddle rack with the bastard sword on it back on along with his backpack.
Yep.
And he is then gonna descend the stairs. Ascend the stairs. I keep getting the two mixed up. And he's gonna extinguish the fires or the torches. So
Yeah.
and then once that's done, he exits the headquarters and is gonna wait for the door to close because he doesn't exactly like it being open.
That's fine. You wait.
Yep.
And it will close after a minute, I believe.
Alright, and with that, he is going to he's gonna head back to the temple and meet up with the others.
Did you return the sword that the Nightmare Temple lent to you as well?
I'll go do that as well. I'm sorry, I'm like,
I'm sure they'd appreciate it.
yeah, he's gonna return the stuff that the Nightmare Temple lent him
I can't
as
remember.
he promised.
Can't remember what if the Nightmare Temple lent you a weapon. To be honest.
I also can't.
Yeah, because I think you were going to, but then you spoke to Steel, and Steel gave you his weapon,
Yeah.
and you were like, okay, I'll use
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
You took both, because if you remember when he started the fight, he was using the sword from the Nightmare Temple that did 2d6 holy damage.
No, that was from Steel.
That was from Steel? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so
To the best of my knowledge, you took both, but you used Steel sword instead.
he returned the sword from that the Nightmare Temple lent him and would and he'll meet up with the others.
Yeah, I think because the only two weapons he used was his bastard sword and the longsword from Steel. But anyway, if there was a weapon that you borrowed, you have returned it.
Yeah. So
Also,
yeah,
don't forget to return Nightshine's amulet that he lent you, because that thing's really
I'll come back for it. It will be a while, but I'll pay him back.
It was priceless.
I'll give you a new one.
If it was priceless, then you don't need to worry about money.
I think it was a gift from Duck, but I can't remember.
It was a gift I gave to Duck, and now that she was safe, I asked it back.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, so he'll approach the others, and he's a little bit he feels slightly lighter on his feet right now, and he goes, well, how do I look?
I'm not
Who
sure.
are you?
I don't think you're light on your feet because it's full plate, so you're definitely heavier on
Yeah.
your feet.
Alright, well, in that case, he's just, he simply walks like he did beforehand. My apologies.
I believe it's a lot more intimidating looking, if I remember what it looks like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
Hellknight armor has like demon faces engraved into it, usually spiky, very black.
Yeah.
Well,
Is that-
Fox looks at you with a smile and says, "This armor suits you."
feels good.
Oh, one thing I will indicate. The helmet, when you first was starting to put it all on, did not have a unicorn hole in it. It does now.
It just basically goes clink, clink, crunch.
Well, no, it's like it was designed to have a hole, basically. You didn't force a hole. One one appeared, so to speak.
It fitted to you.
Yeah, definitely.
Milk, you weren't here, but I had a suggestion of asking them to let us go check turfs because of how we checked what they did in Kurdistan. And we do have a good reason to doubt that they didn't destroy the city. And we could use that as an excuse for time.
That would be a very risky request because we would be completely separated from the safety of these walls and we would be directly behind them.
Yeah, and I don't think that the army would take like however many days or weeks it will take for us to travel that far.
Well, if we use the Mitra map, we are instantly there.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, we have to still travel back by foot.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, but by the time that happens, they might just say like, oh, we conquered your place already.
I don't think they would change the plan of attack because 5 people left the city.
Well, I mean, I don't think they're going to wait for 5 people to return to the city. That's the thing.
Plus, we're very lucky to encounter the full army before we get there.
I believe the full human army actually arrives today.
So we do need to buy time.
Yep. Buy enough time for them to get here and to rest up for whatever comes next.
Okay. If we really want to buy time, why don't we bring someone of the council as a gesture of good faith?
Crystal Heart did mention he was willing to step up.
Yes, he did.
We should go invite him.
I had considered holding off until the third day, but perhaps today is the day. Very well.
Well, I think
Today is a good day to convince them to give us another day.
I believe you were going to play the "You Coming to Our City" card, and if that didn't work, you was going to play "We Bring Somebody Out" card, and then you're going to obviously play around with obviously what type of requests you require for one of the council members to come out. So that gave you another day. I think that was the idea.
That was the idea, but this one is easier to convince them. I'm fine with either.
Well, I mean, if the army attacks, we could probably show off our ship, and that'll probably like if they retreat, that might give them something to think about, like how they're going to deal with that.
Yeah, that's
Lord.
also true.
We could also bluff with the bomb.
We are not using them all.
No.
Bluff with them.
How do we convince them we have a bomb?
So technically, we holding on to it in case Lewis can come anyway, because I'm dropping them in another hour. If you think you would believe us.
I mean, we could just throw open the curtains and let them say, "Hey, look at our flying ship. Look at this massive bomb our scientists have been working on."
Oh, hey, look at this massive target.
I think that's a dumb idea.
I mean, if the
Yeah,
ship takes one bad hit, it goes kaboom, and it ends everybody's day.
I think as a last-ditch effort, we could bring up the bomb and give hints of mutually assured destruction.
Also, that is one thing I really want to know. Are we leaving the bomb on the airship as we use the airship for combat?
Uh,
I mean, no one wants to throw it in the fucking river or volcano.
I would say
So,
you guys
yeah,
can
that's
work.
hard for it, really.
You guys can work out what you do with the bomb after your meeting, because obviously it's not going to come up just yet.
Yeah.
yeah, the ship needs to be used from afar. It's not a galleon. It's not heavily armored. It doesn't need to be up front in their faces. It needs to be high and at an angle so that we can use the cannons to their maximum range.
Yeah, using it as a place where we can put our siege weapons and move the siege weapons real quick.
Considering the mass of the siege weapons, I don't think the ship can move them. Like, one of the reasons why they're moving so slow, the army, is because they had to disassemble their siege weapons that we repaired for them, and they're bringing them with them.
I'm pretty sure that's what they already done. They are putting siege weapons on the airship.
They put some.
No?
They put You guys got cannons on there, and they've put ballistas on the ship, but only ones which are designed for very small crews. The Their main siege equipment that the St. Moon's Reach had, they had to disassemble and take with them. These are siege equipment that is designed to take down dragons.
I think for the time being, we stick to the original plan. We bring up the demon, the refugees, and offer them once again to come into the city. If they decline, we'll let them know that we'll bring that message back to the council and we'll meet with them again tomorrow. That should buy us the time we need for today.
We'll probably want to give them something to make them agree to let the refugees leave the city.
What did you have in mind?
I didn't have anything in mind, I'm just telling you. You probably are not going to convince them to just let all the civilians they want to slave to leave the city like that.
Okay, do you have anything constructive you want to throw in? Or just everyone said yes?
I did, I told you, hey, you probably want to give them something for it.
Yeah, but then not giving us anything that we could give is like, okay, well,
Yeah, we don't have the capital to simply buy them off. So it's
Yeah.
not going to be a matter of gold. As far as any other lavish gifts or anything like that, that would just be viewed as placating and weakness.
Yeah.
I believe if we try to adhere to their sense of honor and their culture of war, we might have a better chance at convincing them to let the civilians leave.
That's certainly a possibility, yeah.
In fact, this time, I won't brew the tea. I will accept their offer of wine. I'll be able to taste it first and see if it's poisoned. And after I'm done testing it, if I believe it is clean and clear, we will all enjoy their wine. They drank our tea last time, this time we will accept their wine.
That they did.
I think I drank their wine last time.
No, he never poured it because you guys brought your own drink.
Oh, okay.
He had it there to. If the meeting went on longer, then you probably would have got wine, but it didn't go on for too long. So,
Okay.
all right. So I think we've done a lot of talking. Shall we actually get to the point where you guys actually have a meeting?
That's enough
Yeah.
talk. Let's hurry up to a meeting for more talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, I'm going to ask people: is anybody taking any weapons with them?
Bird is gonna leave his weapons here at the Nightmare Temple.
Yeah, Alexander will leave his weapons at the gate.
At the gate.
Nilfisel has his spells that he prepared earlier in the morning, and he'll leave his dagger.
Maisha has a dagger inside his bag.
That's fine. You've got that in your bag. What was that? Lightning. What did you say?
He will leave the weapons here.
Okay. So, as you guys leave your weapons behind and you head out, you will come across the same, maybe not the same individual, but another human who's stood there with a chest, saying that any weapons you wish to leave to place in the chest.
I was gonna say you took a little something extra with
Yeah.
us.
I know, I saw. At which point, I'm assuming no one's going to put anything in the chest, so you guys will just walk past him. You will head towards the same tent that had been set up. They would have reported that the tent has not been taken down, it has been left there.
Good.
You guys going to wait outside, or are you going to go straight in?
If we get there a few minutes early, we'll wait until right exactly at noon, and that's when we'll step in.
Oh, sure. Always a good thing to be on time.
Never late, but always on time.
Yep.
Alright. So which one of you has a watch?
We have the sun.
Alright.
Yeah.
Give whoever's doing the timing, roll me geography. Let's see how good your timing is. Knowledge geography.
Alright, I got a few points in geography. No, that should have blind us. No.
That's fine. Yeah. You guys will walk in very close to midday, if not on it. You will see inside 4 individuals. One of them is the same servant who seems to be placing the benches in place. There is the same heavily armoured individual who's wears that very fancy armour, and you have the two individuals who stood by the door who were in robes.
The handlers.
Upon all of you entering, the individual who was dressed in the fine armour will turn to you all and go, "Ah, you're here already. Have a seat. Or stand if you wish," as he will move to take a seat.
The benches look like they'll actually support us this time.
No, they look like they're the same benches.
Alright, I'll stand.
He's gonna take his helmet off, and he's going to sit down with the helmet on the right side of him on the table.
And Milkthistle will sit at the head of the table, just on the ground.
That's fine. The servant will come over and place down the glasses, as well as a bottle of wine.
And Milkthistle will ask, "We did not try your wine last time. Where does it come from?"
It comes from a region within our land known as the Angles.
So the Anglicans grow your wine?
That is one way of putting it.
I'm eager to try some today.
He gives a nod to the servant, and he will basically uncork it and pour out into a number of goblet. Yeah, it's. I want to say goblets, but I don't know if that's the right term.
All right.
Goblets would work.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now, as these are placed in front of you guys, these are again very different to what you guys would cast as goblets. Where most pony ones will have probably a bit where, at least if you're not magically inclined, you could grab hold of the drink, tip it back so you can have a little sip, and be able to obviously drink it. Where with this one, there's none of that. If you actually bite it with your teeth, you're probably going to get the whole thing just flipping up and basically splashing you with it.
Right. I think if we're careful, you can use both hooves to kind of pinch it and then lift it up to your mouth.
Yeah.
yeah, or you can do the like tongue method, like
Yes, you can lick out of it. That is also another way of dealing with this.
Very uncouth.
It makes us look extremely goofy.
Yeah. I mean, this is the issue. You are. He's given you human utensils, and you guys aren't designed for human utensils.
Hmm.
Well, still, Milk Thistle will look at each goblet, and he will taste from each one, just a taste. And I get a +2 perception check for poisons.
How are you tasting? Just so I know. Are you just doing the quick lick inside, or you just sort of like picking it with a hoof and sipping?
I'm going to pick it up with both hooves and lift it up to my lips and kind of just let the wine itself touch my lips.
Oh, actually,
Like when you want to sample something strong.
your clothing, you might not suffer from the fingerless rule.
Or I can just pinch it between my hooves.
Yes, I think you do because you've got cloven hoofs.
Look at me being fancy.
yeah, you can actually like hold it in your you can do the cum challenge.
Let me just check if I'm right on that one. Because that, I don't think it would change too much, but...
Well, I still have the fingerless rule as a cloven.
Yes, you do.
If we just want to say for role-playing purposes, I'll pinch it between my hooves and kind of wedge it up in there to hold it. It's a bit uncomfortable because I'm spreading my hooves apart, but I can make it work.
Yeah, it's definitely awkward, but it's not as awkward as what it would be. The fact you're just having a quick taste means that it's not going to be too bad. You try all of them, and none of them appear to be poisoned.
And Milk Thistle will nod to everyone sitting at the table, and he'll take a drink of his own. Full breakfast.
Alright.
Alexander will awkwardly take a drink of it.
Yeah, Ferndale, with both hooves, he's gonna do his best to take a drink from it. It looks awkward, especially in the armor and everything. So he's just taking it nice and slowly.
He he has a sip of his drink as well, as you all do, and as he puts his glass down, he then starts to speak. When you left us the other day, you raised some concerns, and let me put some of those at rest. I am not sure what information you received from... oh God, why am I forgetting names of places? Caddiston. But I have had some information returned. It appears that a small group of rebels made an attack and attempted to assassinate the steward who was placed there to oversee things. They have caused some disruptions as well as deaths, and because of the rebels, a few actions have have been taken to obviously stop others joining the rebellion or assisting them. I'm sure if you had a similar sort of thing, your government will probably take harsh stances on anyone who attempted to overthrow them.
Were you able to identify the assassins and the rebel leaders?
I'm afraid that is all the information that I was given at this time, or at least as much as I could receive in such a short space. But that is possibly why you may have heard some stories exiting from there.
These rebels, who did they say they represented?
Again, the information I have was very limited, as receiving that information was only by magical means, and as I'm sure you're aware, that is limited in what you can learn.
Milthistle gestures to the rogue figures behind him. Perhaps your handlers would like to sit at the table with us. Perhaps they're more enlightened.
If they wish to join us, they will make themselves known.
Milthistle gestures to an open side of the table next to the officer.
They don't move from their position.
Very well.
But that is at least why you may have heard some stories from the place. If some individuals were placed on display, I think you said one report was, it is entirely possible that was done in regards to the rebel actions.
I see. Alexander says, because he does know about a bit about the rebel stuff going on, but
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to give away anything, and he's obviously told you what he either only knows or what he's willing to give you.
So, all of the rebels were put on display then, or some of them?
I do not know that much information, but given that things seem to be used the current tense, I believe it is still ongoing.
I see, I see.
So, do not judge us by the actions you may have heard from Villager Town. We still very much wish to extend an olive branch.
and of course the sword if we do not accept that olive branch.
Yes, there is the sword as well, still there.
Well, officer, our invitation still stands. So, while the wine is delicious, why don't we get down to brass tacks? We have spoken to the council in regards of your offer. The council has not been very forthcoming in regards to your offer of being absorbed into your king's empire. However, there are council members who are willing to speak with you in person. If you would like to bring your honor guard, including the rogue figures behind you, we could escort you into the city, and you'll have a chance to speak with them face to face. You'll get more direct answers and a more appropriate path.
This would be acceptable. I would need a day to prepare a suitable honor guard.
Well then, we shall have that day. Shall we meet here again tomorrow?
No. Which gate would you like us to approach from?
Okay, pause. Um, did the field marshal say which gate they would be brought to?
No. They basically, the only thing that was mentioned in regards to them coming in is they should take them to a gate which won't give away too much of their defences or anything like that. He seemed to indicate some of like the southern gates, like this one. So I'll ping everybody there. The one down here,
Right.
because obviously the main force is over to the over this sort of way. So
Right. If not the southern gate, I think the easternmost gate right here, that would go through a large portion of the civilian quarter.
yes,
My only concern about bringing them through there is that some of the civilians would get trigger happy and try to attack right away. So maybe the southern gate, which has a bit more of a guard presence, could keep the civilians under control.
yeah. I mean,
Oh, they can just come by the gate we came from, which is closer.
But he's saying, we were saying that that's going to have the largest amount of the presence of our militia and the weaponry that we have. So if we're going to bring them into the city, we want to give them the impression that we are not prepared for a full-on battle. So we want to incorporate some deception and making them think that this is going to be a much easier fight than it's actually going to be.
And also, going a little longer gate would probably buy us a little bit more time. Even just like a few hours, something like that.
Yeah, if we waste a little bit of their time, every moment they waste is our gain.
They might see through that ruse, however.
I'm saying we're not like the north gate or like the west gates. Like we're not bringing them up fully around the back of the end.
Right, so I would say the northern gates and the northeastern gates where the council quarter is and where the temple currently is, we should avoid bringing them through there.
Yeah.
I think the southern gate and the eastern gate would be our best choice.
I'd say the southern gate would probably be the one we go to, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I say we take the reins on this one and just let him know we'll bring him through the southern gate and then inform the field marshal later on.
yeah.
Yes.
Worst case scenario, we can always move stuff like today and put it back up next day. Like,
And if a fight when we're escorting them does break out between either they and us or the civilians and them, we can at least put a quick end to it.
So I imagine the lot of us are whispering amongst ourselves right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So shall we
just
invite
the awkward, alright, team huddle.
shall we invite him to the southern gate then?
Yes.
I believe so, yes.
Milk Thistle will lean back up, take another sip of wine. I believe the southern gate would be the most hospitable. It would take some time to travel around the city, but I don't think you would mind.
That is perfectly fine.
Shall we meet you here and walk with you around the cities to ensure your safety, or would you rather meet us there?
We're pretty safe from the outskirts. You can meet, I would say, meet us at the gate itself.
Very well.
Is there a certain time you would like to be there by? Just so
I believe noon has been a good time for us to be meeting together, and I do enjoy consistency.
I see nothing with noon.
If noon is that,
Clear practice.
if noon is the time you wish, then that is acceptable.
Then we will meet you at our southern gate at noon tomorrow. We will be sure to send word to the council.
This will also give us a chance to show you around, maybe. Invite you over for dinner?
And show you our holy landmarks.
We will see how the talks go. If they prove fruitful, then perhaps you can show me some of your iconic buildings.
In general, just so you know, if you wish to bring a large honor guard with you, we would permit you to be escorted by no more than 200, but when you choose to enter the city, have no more than 50 with you.
He gives a nod. Is there any other concerns you may have?
I would very much like for those two to come with us, even if they are only there to observe. I believe it's important they arrive as well.
He turns and looks back at them, and then turns to you. I'm sure they will go where they wish to.
It would be a shame if they didn't come with us. The Milk Thistle will walk around and whisper behind Lightning. If we had a chance to discuss these things in person with the council tomorrow, it could very likely buy us more time, possibly even another day. We have an opportunity to buy an entire day right now. I think we should take it.
Okay.
All right. Will you be hungry tomorrow afternoon?
Well, come midday, that I'm pretty sure that food should be provided.
I'll take care of it personally. Do you have any words you need to send to the council before we leave?
Only that they come with an open mind.
I will pass that on to. An officer, may we please know your rank and name? It would be very inhospitable of us to not address you appropriately.
He then goes, then I suppose the ruse of who I exactly am will end here. And he will give you his full title and name, which was was on the actual invitation that was given you first of all. And I'm now desperately trying to remember his full title and name.
Does he have like surname after surname after surname?
Yeah.
Like how others came?
It's not quite that long, but it's definitely got a bit of flair to it, and I might have to actually go. I might have to rewatch the video when I stated his full title the previous time, because there was a minor issue with my sticky notes, and his title has gone, and I haven't looked through to find it again in my other notes.
Right.
So,
I
sorry, go on.
Yeah, excuse me. I scrolled all the way back up to the top of our chat log here. It goes all the way back to the aboleth that we fought on the ship whenever we fought the pirates.
Yeah.
And I'll scroll down from there because I think he posted the entire length of the letter in here.
That's what I thought I did. I even checked to see if I had a note of it, but I apparently didn't.
Yeah, so what you're saying is his name is in Sir Charles Pennyworth Wingback II.
I mean, it is something like that with some extra flair to it. I will pop, like I said, I'll have to watch the exact vid, see what I actually said his title was, and rewrite it down. Keep it somewhere safe. Yeah. I can't. I'm not seeing his title.
I'm scrolling through here and I'm seeing lots of examples of Alexandrite missing all of his attacks with his sword and then landing a crit with his hooves. He's done that at least twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here you go.
Sounds about right.
Oh wait, no. Sir Richard Edward the Lionheart is what he will say. I knew there was something after his title. So it's Sir. So it's Sir Richard Edward the Lionheart.
And what is the king's name? You told us that last session.
I want to say it was Lawrence II.
That's
Yeah, it
correct.
was Lawrence.
Well, Sir Edward, thank you very much for being forthcoming. We will pass this along to the council, and we will make preparations for your arrival tomorrow at noon.
Quite so.
I will advise this is done under good faith. Should there be any attempt on your behalf to use this opportunity to harm myself or any of my men, we will bring retribution. I do not wish for us to for that to happen, but we will come with no ill intent.
I've no doubt you have many contingency plans in place should such a thing ever happen. We will ensure you don't have to use a single one.
He gives a nod. Is there anything else you wish to discuss, or shall I leave any of my final points for your council members?
I believe now that we have an opportunity for a face-to-face meeting, it would be best to save those for tomorrow.
Then we will draw this meeting to an end early, and hope that tomorrow we will see each other again as allies rather than enemies.
Milthistle will raise his goblet, drink the rest of his wine, and give him a polite bow. Thank you, Sir Edward.
Drink the rest of his wine, give a respectful bow, and put his helmet on. Well, we shall see you tomorrow, then tomorrow at noon.
Good day, Edward. Alexander will finish his wine as much as he can and get ready to head out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with your definitely shorter talk this time round, you guys leave.
We didn't earn an extra day, so that's a success.
Yes.
Yes, that's a good thing.
And our reports say that the army is supposed to arrive today. As we're leaving, do we see any signs of an approaching army, such as a massive dust cloud on the horizon or several birds flying overhead?
Okay, so the dust cloud and stuff would definitely have been reported, and it's sort of it was when you left, you would have been told that that there was a dust cloud, and it appears that majority of the main force has arrived, and they have begun to set up their main camp.
So we actually see them here now, correct?
In the distance, yeah. They're not like right by where this tent is. They're further back.
Yeah. So we should probably work on getting them inside tonight.
Yes. That is definitely a thing we do need to focus on doing, that and dealing with the council. God, the
Shall
touch
we?
is such a pain in the butt.
Should we take care of the bomb before going to the council?
Honestly, I don't know if there's an opportunity to take care of the bomb, because it is incredibly heavy.
Yeah. And we haven't... Sorry.
if we did manage to carry into the ship, we can manage to carry outside the ship.
Yeah.
Where will we carry it to?
That's why I'm asking.
I also will put a.
Do you want me to decide?
I mean, I said we should get rid of this bomb a long time ago, and no one took me up on that. So.
I also will point out
There's-
that when you last time you moved the bomb, you didn't realise how much on a trigger's knife it was on. Now you do.
Right. Any movement on this bomb is going to be risky. There's no safe place for it inside the city. And to take it
Yeah.
outside the city would likely require the airship or a caravan to move this thing. We could attempt to send a single wagon team to pull the bomb out, but where are they going to take it? You know, if you leave it out in the middle of an open field, any number of nasties could get their hands on it.
Mhm.
Honestly, unless we teleport it to another plane or put it somewhere where there's nothing for miles around, there's not going to be a safe place to dispose of it. We just don't have the time and the resources to move it that way.
Do we have any spells that could transport it to a different plane?
No.
We could get a spellcaster to activate the map. I think the bomb could move, say, Nightshine and the bomb to a random location that's far away from anyone else, and then he uses one of his teleportation scrolls to get back to the other town. That would at least get it outside the city and away from the armies, but it would still be exposed.
The only thing I could think of is dropping it in like the middle of the ocean, but like we don't have the resources to do that right now because
Yeah.
we need the ship to do that. And if we take the ship out now, then it's like we kind of just spoil the fact that we have the ship.
So are we leaving it on the ship?
I mean, for now, just because we don't have anywhere to store it.
Yeah. That's the best place for it right now.
I think we could set it up underneath the city. That's still not the safest place, but at least it'll be off the ship and away from most people. If we put it in the sewers, that'll at least get it out of sight of everyone.
I suppose, yeah. Something about that just doesn't feel or sound right.
Yeah, I
How
think.
to move it without anyone seeing it? That's another question. Because it is a big glowing bomb.
Well, you can cast invisibility on an object. You know, we could cover it with a tarp, cast invisibility on it, and we could just, transport this massive heavy thing that nobody can see. It'll just look weird. There's no good place to put the bomb right now. It's not good to keep it on the boat because if the boat gets damaged and crashes, it could go off. If we try to move it outside the city, it could be captured and go off. If we teleport it somewhere, it could go off.
So it's a damned if we do, damned if we don't situation.
Right. At least for the time being, if it's on the boat, nobody else is getting on the boat to mess with it.
Mhm.
We could put it.
Could
Yes?
put it.
Yeah.
Nightshine?
There's
Yeah, Nightshine.
I said put it besides the Queen's chamber. I mean the Queen's tomb, and that's you to watch over it.
Mm.
I mean, you're talking about putting it inside the temple.
Yeah.
I mean, if it does explode, it's going to destroy the temple anyway.
Right. The entire city and countryside is going to get destroyed. Maybe?
I mean, if it's on the ship, even if the ship is damaged, like to the point we could still kind of maybe fly as much as we can away from the city. Like,
Here's what I think. I think if we contact the temple, there's probably, well, we know for a fact there's a large series of catacombs underneath the temple, well below ground. And they're well guarded and very difficult to navigate. If we could get the bomb inside there, it will at least stay safe and locked away.
They are not well guarded. They're just generally left alone.
Well, that stinks. I don't know. Give it to Sticks.
Okay, I will. Besides living on the ship and fully inside the temple and asking people to watch over it, does anyone can think of any other place?
Uh,
I mean, if we could, I'm sure we would have thought about it before now.
yeah. I mean, maybe. I don't
Okay.
know. Maybe ask Styx?
What? Why would sticks help watch over a bomb better than a temple?
I'm thinking
It's
of
a
a place.
bomb, not a bomb.
I'm thinking of a place underground to where it's out of sight, out of mind, and if the siege weapons do go off and start bombarding the surface, it's less likely to get damaged and go off. If we can put it safely underground, it's not going to get seen and it's not likely to get hit.
Alright, for things you know about underground, you know the temple has underground chambers, and for those of you who have, I think pretty much everybody, when you've visited the Luminance library, you know they were in the process of moving all of the books down into the lower chambers to keep them safe. So you also know they have somewhere underground safe. You also know that there's the sewer system, but you don't know of any entrances large enough that will fit the bomb through. What else have you known of?
That one building in the Noble District that has the tunnels underground.
That was big enough for you guys to walk through. That was it.
Okay.
And that was inside somebody's house, which front doors won't be able to get a bomb through.
So Sorry, go on.
What about the Unification Hall or the Academy of Kind Blades? Do they have any catacombs?
You've not searched the Unification Hall enough to know if it's got any catacombs. As far as you can tell, for the Academy of Kind Blades, it did not appear that they had that sort of thing.
So, I was actually thinking about that just now. Why don't we use the, we would have to take the tapestries down first. Why don't we use the old, Chaos Hunters and Chaos Knights headquarters?
Would that be big enough to throw on, or like get it through?
The hallways and the doorways of the palace, yes.
But
And
what about the Chaos Knights room itself? Where you have to speak the word to get through there.
The size of the door, the size of the wall, what opens up, yes, you'll have to move everything out of the hallway to be able to get it down, and you'll need to move some of the beds out of the way, but you'll be able to get it in there.
That's probably our best place because that's a very secure area. Like, we need to speak Druid to get in there, so
Yeah,
no one can accidentally set it off.
yeah. What I would like to do, however, before we move the bomb down there, get all the tapestries and relocate them someplace where they're going to be secure and stored and locked away.
I will point out, the tapestries are probably still very safe there, because if the bomb goes off, it doesn't matter where they will be, it won't matter.
Yeah, true.
We just need to get rid of the beds and the.
I mean, you could just push them all up at one side and it'll be fine. It was just some of the beds you'll have to move.
Alright.
Between the lot of us, do we have enough strength to move it there?
I can cast magic to make it easier to carry tomorrow.
So,
Like ample? Okay.
how far are you planning to move it?
Well, it's on the ship, which is in the middle of the park right here. So to carry it from there to the Unification Hall would be quite a trek.
Yeah.
We fly the ship a little bit, like so it's not like above the walls, but like we can kind of grind it on near the ground. Is that the area? Like,
Maybe, like under cover of darkness, I would say that'd be doable. Like just over the surface.
Yeah, because that's like 5,904 feet, so...
Getting it through the streets will be difficult. You can obviously fly in a straight line, but you would have to go up a little bit of height, especially when you get to this section here, because these bits are tall, as well as the wall here. Under night, there's a good, as long as there's no lights on the ship, there's a good chance that probably nothing would really notice, or they would notice something with an odd shape come up and then come down. But chances are they probably wouldn't be able to make out too much. given the distance they will be away.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that's our probably best idea.
And what we could do is get some of the clerics together and cast obscuring mist over the walls here, so that way as the ship approaches, it'll be concealed.
That also would add to them not able to see, given putting a mist over the city.
Okay. So I think that's our best bet. We'll use the ship to carry the bomb to the unification hall, and then we'll carry it down to the Chaos Knight's chamber and seal it.
Alright. So the movement basically will require an engineering check to get off the ship safely, with rigging and stuff like that. Unless you can find other means rather than rigging and stuff. And then whoever's carrying it, strength tests as you're carrying, basically.
Yeah, so I think last time it was me and Burns who were carrying it with Aunt Holly or whatever.
Yes, I believe it was. Now, unless if you guys wish to do anything different to what I've mentioned now, or if you wish to use magic in a way that might assist you, now is the time to let me know. Oh, actually, is there anything else people want to do before we move into you guys moving this?
Yeah, we're going to do that at night, so we've
Yeah.
got several hours. We need to send word to the field marshal and the council, specifically Crystal Heart. We need to make absolutely sure that Duchess Lilypad is not going to jump the gun and break this temporary truce between the two armies. Because I think she's the weak link right now.
Yeah, she's way too. She's just clamping at the bit for a fight.
And if I'll think wild card, I would just offer her a date or something like that.
One of you actually, you probably would be able to figure this out based on what you knew and what you've just said. Those with knowledge of religion can make me a check.
I do have knowledge of it, so I will.
What's the religion check for?
Well, you to give you a little bit of extra info.
Regarding what?
The Duchess.
Okay.
Can I roll knowledge local?
No, it will be religion.
Is she a follower of Blaze? Is that why she wants to fight so much?
This might give you answers. So, Milk Thistle, you're pretty certain that she's probably a follower of Blaze.
Oh god.
Well, I actually never picked up on that.
That does explain a lot.
Now you've sort of gone, yes.
So, maybe more of us should occupy her time then?
We do need to help with the Blaze clerics.
That's right. The Blaze warrior priest, I forget what her name was, but she came from Galloping Dan here first with a group of her warriors.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I believe one of them helped us carry the bomb at one point. No, it was the sarcophagus.
Yes.
Yeah, he was an Afghan who carried the sarcophagus to the temple.
Correct.
We do need to follow up with the field marshal and make sure that he is moving his headquarters out of the temple and into the bank, because if we're using it for military purposes, the humans are going to see it as a viable target.
Yeah, it was said that it will move if when combat happens, because they want to keep that area secure for as long as possible, and they don't want to like worry people that they're taking over the bank. So, because technically people are still using money to trade and buy stuff, and if they take it over as a military point, it will cause a bit of more of a political issue more than anything. And
Yeah, we probably won't need to do it till like the gates are broken into.
No, he'll probably, the moment the army starts gathering to attack, that's when it moves. Or when negotiation has completely broken down.
Okay. Well, we need to decide a meeting place. Probably not wise to have a meeting place in the temple, because we don't want to give the impression that we're using it as a military structure already.
guards down then, because we're going to have them at the south gate anyway.
Yeah.
What's this round building over here?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
If you live in the city, you can roll knowledge local.
I do not.
Lightning. Lightning, what's that round building?
The round building? What is the round building?
Oh, hang on. Let me ping you to where they're going. You might want to zoom out if it's a bit too close.
Wait, what building is this?
Roll me knowledge local.
Oh.
That's what we're trying to find out.
Oh no, there was a problem.
I have to get my sheet back up. But
It's not the end of the world.
Heavy is the crown.
it's a background story.
Local, I believe. No, it's an adventure one because it's considered a core one.
Oh, let's local. I need it blind, or would I just not?
Yeah, it would be blind because you don't know how much. Because you might give wrong information. Right. You're quite certain that area there is sort of larger sort of high-end communities, and that particular area, that particular circle building is a bathhouse which services that area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not your place in the east.
I mean, if it's a bathhouse, it probably has some lavish dining rooms.
Um,
I'm going to prepare that feast spell.
It's more focused around bathing and stuff rather than that side of things. Lightning, because obviously you know what they're looking for. There is actually a more dedicated building for possibly what they could be after. Would be this one here.
Wait,
I think
Not far away from the tavern.
if you stop
Wait
moving,
a minute.
stop moving the.
Like locals.
Stop moving the map for a second. I'll ping you to it. There we go.
what is it called?
This one is normally utilized. Let me recall the right name for it. It is one of the more upper scale inns. It has. This is where if you were a nobleman coming from out of town and you wanted to stay somewhere, this is where you would go. There's sort of very big grand meeting rooms, those sort of things. This is sort of your more upper class type thing.
Okay, well, I'm sure a bathhouse would be lovely right now. How about we hold the meeting in over there?
Why not locals?
Opal's Tavern is probably a little bit smaller than what it would be able to do.
It's also, I believe, still under construction.
Most of the repair work's been done.
If it were just a single individual, Opal's Tavern would probably be comfortable enough, but the officer, Sir Edward, will be bringing an honor guard of 50 with him inside the city.
Yeah, and we're trying to make it look like it's our main base of operations instead of a temple.
I don't know if we're going with that, at least not currently. But we do want to have a safe, secure, comfortable place where everyone can speak openly so we can get everything out in the open. I believe this place will be very suitable, I think. Thank you.
And after all we've been dating, you haven't brought up this bathhouse before.
I mean, most of the circle buildings, which I've got those with coloured roofs, are bathhouses.
Oh, so bathhouses are a cultural aspect here in Wilgertown.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, we'll have to visit.
You're not likely to have a bath in your house, let's just say.
Now, do they also have a vomitorium like the old Romans did back in the day?
No.
No gorging yourself on 20 pounds of roasted nuts and honey glazed peacock?
Not at the moment, anyway. There's a bit of a food shortage.
Alright, well, regardless, that actually is a good place to show up. If the market's still open, we'll have to proceed through the marketplace, but it is directly in front of the southern gate, so we won't have to branch too far from our path. Alright, so we need to get with the field marshal and the counselors as soon as possible and inform them.
Alright, I suggest we do that now then.
Alright, so we know the field marshal's at the temple.
So this time around, as the field marshal and the Duchess would be there waiting for your guys' return.
Hello.
Hello. I mean, wait, who said that?
That was nice, Sean.
Brandon out and Ryder here, but where's everyone else? Alright, Sean, you keep falling behind.
No.
You don't have any time. Oh, okay, thank goodness you're all here.
Is Liney here?
Yep, there she is.
I'm right
Oh,
here.
she's outside the temple.
Yeah.
Are you coming yet?
Are you?
You come on waiting outside.
Lightning, are you coming in or are you waiting outside?
She'll come in. Wait, in the temple?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, she's not going to the temple. No. She's
Alright.
not going in there if she can help it.
That's just paranoia talking.
Ha 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 ha. Paranoia, my fucking ass. They're saying he's gonna kill me.
Whatever.
It's just survival instinct at this point.
Alright. Well, we're going to meet with the field marshal and counselors.
Yeah. It's Field Marshal and it's Duchess Lilypad who was there to greet you after your visit to the General.
Good afternoon.
To you.
The General will greet you in return. The Duchess will merely sort of snap back, going, "So, did he take our invitation?"
In fact, he did.
She gives a laugh. Ha! Perhaps we can actually end this swifter than we first thought then.
No, we're not gonna attack him. We've already been through this, Duchess.
We have given our word to Sir Richard Edward the Lionheart that when he proceeds to our village, or to our town, with his honor guard of 50 soldiers, he will be treated with respect, and we will have open minds as we sit down and listen to him. Anything deviating from that will result in immediate retaliation before we are prepared to defend ourselves.
And if we do survive this, and if whoever instigates the attack is found, there will be retribution. And there will be punishment and justice. Is that understood, Duchess?
Are you threatening me?
I wouldn't say it's so much of a threat. I'm just stating the obvious. They're going to be asking for retribution and demanding justice.
I suggest you choose your words a little bit more carefully there. Know your place.
The well-being of every citizen and every soldier here is at stake, Duchess. If we jump the gun and attack too soon, we will be unprepared to deal with the full mass of their army that is arriving today. We have to be patient. I have bought us another day. Rather, we have bought us another day. I suggest we take it.
Besides, it is not in Blazen's best interest to attack cowardly.
Field Marshal, the arrangements we have made, and the reason why our meeting was so short, is because Sir Edward has agreed to meet with the council. He will be arriving at the southern gate tomorrow at noon. He will have an honor guard escorting him around the city of 200 soldiers. and when he enters the city, he will have no more than 50. We have designated, didn't catch the name of this place, but just beneath Opal's Tavern in the market, we have designated this building here to be our meeting place.
Oh, I don't think I actually given it a name, to be honest.
The fancy inn.
Come on in.
Oh God. Let me grab me a name for this place.
It's so appropriate that Rainbow Dash is the one who said that too. But he will be arriving at noon. If you would like to meet him at the gates, we can escort him together. Otherwise, our group will be meeting him there and we'll escort him there to the building. I must insist he will be treated with the utmost respect while he is here, as he represents the army that's preparing to invade us. He does have the intent of convincing you to be allowed to absorb into the human empire, so that is what he will be offering.
If we impress him, he might stay for a little longer for
Why am I selecting?
dinner to buy us more time for our armies to get in.
Sorry, I've just put that in. There you go. That is the name of the place.
The Silver Mug. Okay.
It's a fitting name.
Look at you over there with your pewter mugs. Ha, we drink out of silver here.
And then above that's the gold mug.
Oh no, Opal bought out her competition. Now she owns 2 taverns.
I'm now trying to work out how to edit the name underneath it. Maybe sure I can. Oh God, no. Alright.
So, Marshall, do you intend to be there for the meeting yourself, or will you be sending a representative?
I plan to be there myself. Eye up who we are potentially going to battle with, and get a better judgment on this individual. As the more information we can glean from his mannerisms and his intention means that we can I can get a better idea of what we might be dealing with.
I hope you let us participate.
I will be preparing the meal for everyone.
I have no issues with you doing such a thing. He goes.
Duchess, will you be there, or will you be sending a representative of your own?
I'm definitely going to be there, even if it's just to spit in his face. We don't need. This may be pointless, but I understand the importance of buying time. Even though we should strike now, when they least expect it, and then drive the dagger home.
It's also when we are less prepared.
Yeah, and then they come down on us harder, like if the sun were to crash down upon the planet.
Well, have you ever heard the saying, remove the head and the body dies?
Yeah, but that's not true with a lot of things in this world.
Yeah,
He's not the head, he's just the nice guy who's not even the main general.
No, he is the main general. He indicated he was.
Oh!
Yeah.
He played the game of, I'm not saying exactly who I am to begin with, but as he's coming into the city, he indicated he is the main person.
Okay.
But even then, even if it's a general, there will be people under him who would take over.
There's
Yes, I'm
someone.
sure you've learned by now, a military has many officers. so that if one falls, others can take his place.
Yes, and one thing I've learned during my travels is, for one nasty person, there's one nastier than them. So, if we take him out, sure, might get rid of the problem, but one that's much worse than him could also arise, and, then we would really be out of luck.
We don't want to get on their bad side, so we shouldn't try anything. We have more to lose than they do.
Was anybody else wanted to say something?
I was basically going to say we should play the field as it is and wait till our army is ready. That way we'll have the best fighting chance. And there's more glory to blaze. Trying to play up her religion.
Milk turns his head to you when you say that. Odd thing to coming from you.
I will take what you say under advisement.
Then since you're in the mood for advice, Duchess, why don't you bake some cookies? As a peace offering.
She would poison them.
You'll have taste testers with them, no doubt.
Sorry, excuse me. She just sort of gives you like a and sort of rolls her eyes at your comment. And then sort of continues on going, well then it looks like we're preparing for them to send in, you said 50? Couldn't you at least get it down to more like 25 or 20?
We did tell him 50 at the meeting, but I'm sure he would understand if we reduced it to 25 at the gate. He will have no more than 200 with him when he moves around the city. I don't believe 50 is unreasonable.
The general will speak up. Considering the size of his army, it is a small force. We should have enough troops that we will be able to contain them. It is possible a highly skilled force of 50 could cause some minor damage to the localized area. The only thing that we have to worry about to a degree, he indicates on his map, which is just like this, over here, he points to these buildings here, here is a number of supplies of food that are stored, and that is the only major strategic place that could come under any great threat, other than if they push forward and head towards obviously the temple. But I plan to have a sizable force placed here to stop them pushing further into the city that way, and I will have units stationed around these points here, so that if necessary we will basically have like a horseshoe around them, so we'll be able to close in and push them out towards the gate, should we need to go to such extremes.
As long as we keep our word, I believe the general will keep his. Regardless of the circumstances, he does seem to be very honorable and trustworthy.
That is my understanding as well. He does not seem the evil sort, from what I've detected.
Well, at least that is something. If he is honourable, he will at least stick to his word. Do you know of, is it just him and his honour guard, or is there any other representation that is coming?
There have been 2 rogue figures in the tents the last 2 days we've met him. They do not say anything, they only observe. I believe they answer directly to King Lawrence back in their lands. He's only gestured to them but never mentioned them by name, and says that if they choose to come, they will. So they don't answer directly to him.
Interesting.
They do have the ability to cast magic.
Interesting. Well, it appears that we have much to plan for, and we will see how this actual meeting goes.
There is one more thing we should probably go over tonight.
And what is that?
There's a certain object on our ship that we need to have moved to the
Unification.
unification.
Yeah.
All right, and what do you need from me for that?
We need some assistance in hauling it.
Not necessarily hauling it, but we will need the streets to be cleared on a flight path from the lake and the pond in the park to the unification hall.
Oh, that is fine.
So
We're starting to implement a curfew anyway, so that should not be much of an issue.
perfect. Yes, the ship will be flying very low to the ground, just over the roofs of the houses and trees. And as we start to approach the city wall, we'll need to cast obscuring mist to cover it, so that way the sails cannot be seen. But once we reach the unification hall, we'll do a quick unload, and then Captain Swift Gadget will send the ship back to the park.
I don't think the ship has sails, at least not when it's flying low.
No, it does have. It has sails. They're just not needed for when it's in fly mode.
Yeah.
I think the sails themselves are from actual ships, which makes them kind of odd for the rest of the ship. So the sails look like they were added afterwards.
Yeah, I think they're set up as a contingency in case the engines fail.
It was used as an actual ship before we fixed it. So.
Yeah. He goes, we can have that sorted. There will be those suitable at the temple who would be able to utilize such magics. We will see it done.
Has any more intel been gathered regarding the scouts that are moving around the city and their birds?
The scouts are moving in a pattern that we can watch and to a point predict. But as for the messenger birds, they seem to be sparse. Best we can guess, based on reports, is unless there's anything interesting for them to report, there's no reason for them to send a bird. So unless we do something that will catch their interest, it's unlikely they will send any messenger birds. It does appear that they are using hawks, as far as we can tell.
Alright, so we can actually, if we are to attack one of the scouting units, we can prepare a contingency in case a bird is sent. Have our flyers maybe shoot them down before they reach the army. And then there would be no reports coming in.
You're only going to stop one report, you're not going to stop all of them.
Of course, but we only need to stop one scout unit from seeing reports of the army moving in.
This is true. We will see what happens now that the main force has arrived. It is possible that things may change a little. But should we want to make a move on a group, then if we do something that hopefully is of significance, we could possibly encourage them to send a bird, but we have to determine what they're watching for to know if they're going to send a bird for it or not.
Field Marshal, have we determined what time our reinforcements arrive?
I've got word that they are reaching the designated meeting point by. I was going to do army time. 1800. 1800 this evening. They'll be at the designated point. That is when we need to decide how we want to get them into the city. But we will have to determine if what sort of risk factor we want to do. If we want to keep them in position until the army looks like it's about to push in, if we want to try and bring them on the cover of dark, if we want to make a show of power. Likelihood, tomorrow, whatever happens, will probably decide an awful lot of what we're going to try and do.
Do our reinforcements arrive tonight at 1800 or tomorrow?
Tonight at 1800 in the designated meeting point, which is a point where they can rest before they actually make a full push towards the city. So,
how much time will they need to arrive to our city after they rest?
I reckon they can get to the walls within 4 hours.
Milk Thistle starts scratching his beard, thinking. It might be possible to have our show of force and capture the general as Duchess Lilypad wishes. If they arrive this evening and they remain hidden, they will have a chance to recover their strength and rest. And then when we have our meeting at noon, we can stretch it long enough for those hours for our reinforcements to arrive. And even though the general will have his honor guard, he will be completely surrounded by our soldiers. It's a risk, but we have an opportunity to capture the general while he's inside our walls and separated from his army.
We can push it in, but it will definitely. We cannot hide an army of that size moving in. They will know it's coming. They will probably have about an hour's warning, maybe 2 if they've got good scouts.
But the general himself, I was about to say the general himself wouldn't find out, but he is able to receive messages through magic. He could be alerted in our very presence, and we wouldn't even know it.
Yeah, that's the
But
big thing.
is it worth the risk? If not, I say we play it as originally planned and let him return. That would certainly protect our food stores and would prevent his best soldiers from causing any damage.
We will have to we have to play it by ear. We will he sort of thinks playing it by ear is probably not going to be. If we're going to do this, it's going to be one of those decisions that we ideally need to make now, because it'll be difficult to plan it on the fly. Because there'll be a lot more preparations if I need to get a military force ready, moving in onto the city.
I still vote we use the cover of darkness to hide the army and sneak them in.
Yes.
Take out one of the scouts and.
I won't be able to. If I move them tonight, they wouldn't have had a chance to rest, and if they get into a fight, they will be tired.
You just need to get another day at that point.
But once our reinforcements arrive, they'll know by midday, because there are thousands coming. On the other hoof, we haven't yet discussed allowing the refugees to leave our city. If we discuss that and manage to convince the general to allow our refugees to leave, it will be numbered in the tens of thousands. That number of bodies and that movement could conceal the army because
Very true.
there would just be too much to observe.
We could, yeah, that could work. We could use the refugees as cover for the army to sneak in. Replace our weakness with our strength.
I think that is a viable solution, Field Marshal.
It's possible, but we are planning to send the civilians to the east, correct?
Originally, yes, but now I'm thinking they should perhaps go south because Galloping Dam has access to a altered plane portal. At least we believe they do. It's a long shot, but if we send them south, they're less likely to head toward Turbs, where the army has traveled already and likely has convoys set up.
It's possible that we would be able to move a good portion of the actually, given the size of the populace, if they let us remove most of them, then yeah, it's possible we better do it. But I know in my shoes, as a tactical decision, it would be a foolish one to accept. But if we can convince them of it, then it would be a good one to do.
Well, there's no better time than our meeting.
Sir Edward is a human of tremendous honor. He seems to have a very traditional view of warfare, and I think if we manipulate him into a way of thinking it's an honorable decision to allow the civilians to leave so that only those who remain are those willing to fight, he would be more willing to agree to it.
Well, that's true, though he is also not an idiot. He knows that refugees will drain our resources. If it was strictly honor, I think he would have accepted the duel to a challenger. But,
This is. I do agree with Alexandrite on this. He seemed awfully reluctant to even try a duel of honor, let alone accept it.
Well, of course not. He must answer to his king. His king has ordered him to take these lands by whatever means necessary. A duel and then forcing him to return empty-handed would, not only dishonor him, but strip him of all titles and lands. Alright. So we have the meeting in place. We know what time Sir Edward will be here. And our army is close. If we stick to the original plan, have the meeting with the general, and then send him on his way, we could then bring our armies up later that night under cover of darkness. If he agrees to let the refugees leave, we could use that mass of bodies to conceal the army as they move in. It's a long shot, but I believe it's one worth taking.
I think these are our best courses of action. We have contingencies whether he agrees to our plans or not.
Seems our best course of action. We will
Yes.
we will move to see if we can get a civilian evacuation, and if not, then we will move the forces, the military forces, under the cover of night the next day.
Right. Alright, I think we have our jobs for the day.
Alright. Also, a little bit out of a character thing. For obviously their meeting, at the moment, in regards to obviously what the Sir Richard wants to do with the whole everyone has peace and integrates you into the human empire. Unless you guys do something to either alter Duchess's frame of mind or somehow remove her and have somebody in position to be more pliable, it will not be. Hold on, Pippin. It will not be accepted in any sort of meeting. Just that much you're pretty much sure of. So you are potentially still going down the route of warfare. So if you do want to look at a peace option, you would need to do something regards to the Duchess.
Do we
Yeah.
have, okay, who are the council members here?
Duchess Lilypad, Crystal Hearts, and the other one.
Lord Skystriker. The other two are currently not at this meeting, but they are probably both off doing other things. You do know that the Duchess has the most power politically in regards to their positions. Next down, you're unsure, but if you had to guess, it would seem Crystal will be the next one, and then it'll be Lord Skystriker.
Crystal Heart inherited his council seat, and was it Emberheart?
Yes, I believe it was.
Yeah. Emberheart was the one who was in charge of the city guard and the militia, funding them and making sure that they were maintained. So he does have direct command over the city guard, at least currently.
Yeah, he for those he would have control, or at least direct control over the personal guard that the nobles were using, which consists of about 200 able-bodied people. They have mostly been used to help train the militia at this point in time, but he would be able to make use of them, and they would be loyal to him. There might be a few in there who might be questionable, but they mostly would.
I have a conniving idea brewing in my head.
Yeah. This is something I wanted to throw out to you guys, because it depends what you want. You're in a position you can choose to influence how things go. But at this moment in time, it's just going to go down what has been lined out of. Very much the Duchess is probably going to it's going to go down a very clear route with her in the talks, which would basically result in a fight. If you want to avoid it, or if you even potentially want to look at options of joining the humans, if that is an option for you guys, then she's the one thing you have to remove.
Yeah, I don't think we're looking to avoid the fight altogether, or we don't have time to join the humans.
Yeah. I mean, okay, there's a couple of things running through my mind right now, but with our current situation in game, I can't say them in character.
No, you can throw stuff this is out of character moment, because I was giving you some info sort of stuff which you guys could potentially realise in character anyway, and as you guys walk out, if you don't do anything, or you don't start doing anything, it's going to go down a very clear route. So have a chance to work out of character where you guys might want to go, then have a think of what your characters would do in character with that sort of information.
Yeah. So since this is an out character moment, I'm gonna be honest. Duchess Lilypad is a liability right now.
True.
She's really trying to get into a fight that we do not need until our forces arrive, and she needs to be dealt with as soon as we possibly can. So if anyone has any ideas on how to go about it, hey, that would be just great.
I do have an idea. It's a conniving idea.
I don't think starting a coup right now is a good idea, considering we're about to try to be at our strongest. So
No, it would not be a coup. It would actually be a charge of treason against the Lilypad, because even though she has the majority of the political power, she doesn't have as much influence as she lets on. She's used to snapping her hooves together and making things happen, but that's not the circumstances she's in right now.
It is a queue.
She's out for blood. I say we give her that opportunity. So here's what Milk Thistle is thinking about doing. Milk Thistle is wanting to essentially prop up Crystal Hard as the lead council member. He's essentially number two, but he has the backing of the guards and the details and stuff like that in regards to the militia. Um, I think if we talk to Duchess Lilypad and get one of her guards, who's most likely loyal to her, try to assassinate the general while we're at dinner, Milk Thistle can cast Hold Fey on the assassin, get him frozen in place, and save the general's life. And then we can easily connect the one who had tried to assassinate the general and his dagger, tie that back to Duchess Lilypad. Lilypad's going to be running her mouth at this dinner. I just know she is. So it's going to be very easy to pin and say that this was not done with the consent of everybody else here. We're trying to find a peaceful solution if possible. Duchess Lilypad has made this impossible. Charge her with treason and either do a public execution or send her to jail or just give her over to the humans. That will
I
remove
don't
her.
know. Seems like a risky maneuver, considering well, this bad bunch of apples is happening. We might as well just throw them all out.
Fortune favors the bold.
I mean, this could go 6 ways from Sunday, but, it doesn't hurt to try.
Honestly, I want the fight to take place. I don't want to get absorbed into the human kingdom, like in and out of character. I don't want to see that happen.
Yeah.
But I also want to see Duchess Lilypad removed because she is indeed a liability. She's going to be, trying to instigate stuff before we have a chance to buy the time that we need, regardless of what she's saying right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can play it up and make it look like there was an assassination attempt on the general, but we stopped it, we can probably send him back out to his army and not have the fighting break out immediately. But that'll also remove Duchess Lilypad and get someone else better suited in power.
I mean, I don't know. I think we need like a clear show of like unity and leadership at this point. Considering, I don't think cutting the heads off one of our chickens is the best idea. Even if it's
No, we unified together and we all agreed that Duchess Lilypad committed treason.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying, Zest, I really do. But think about how Duchess Lilypad has been acting. She's clearly acting in a aggressive way that does not befit any sort of peace talks or even any talks to keep us all, safe. So we have to examine those options as well.
well, yes, but I think there's better ways than to get her executed or frame her for something that.
All right, well maybe not execute her, maybe not send her to the headsman, but yeah, at least strip her of her power and lock her away.
I mean, why don't we just like distract her or I'm sure there's like other ways we can go about this than like the whole like try to execute or attack the general.
I mean,
And
maybe, but it wouldn't be as much fun.
yeah, I mean, okay, here's my question in retort to that, Alex. Uh, how do you propose we distract her?
Well, we can definitely we could give her the wrong time of day or whatever. We could like keep her busy for a few hours. Like hell, if I was playing my wild card, I could just be like, "Hey, you're cute. Want to go on a date?" This has worked before for me, so.
I mean, do we have an image of her?
Yeah, I've seen Duchess Lilypad. She's legit cute. She looks to be a bit older, like one of those women in her 40s who works at the gym all the time, keeps herself fit.
Still, can you share the image of her with me?
Yeah, 1 second. I've just got to dig it up again.
She's like way up in the Steel game chat.
Or like we could give her a job that's not be at the meeting, like make sure the bomb is safe or whatever. Like
I don't
Probably
think
not that, but you know.
I don't think she would buy into that because this is an incredibly important political meeting, so she would insist on being there.
Well, I know, but we could also set up something to be like, oh, we need you for this right now. Like, I don't know, someone's fucked with the food shortages or something like that. Shortages, but because I think she was in charge of that, so like, I don't know, something to just pull her away from the meeting. Like,
Lightning, what do you think?
Sorry, I was looking at a butterfly.
Okay, I can see your heads in this. But
What
it's
are we
okay.
on?
We're discussing ways to dispose of Duchess Lilypad so that way she doesn't botch things up during the meeting.
Oh my god! Why wasn't I listening?
I know, I figured you'd be really interesting.
Hang on, I'm into this now. Let's fucking do it. Let's go.
Okay, so we put forth two suggestions.
Blow her out with the nuke.
Okay, that's one solution. We could like assassinate her in her sleep. My idea,
Bring up the dagger, I'll do it.
Milk Thistle came up with the idea of attempting to assassinate the general and then pinning it on Duchess. So Milk Thistle would speak to Duchess Lilypad and, play into her pride and her bloodlust, convince her to have one of her personal guards to assassinate the general while he's at the dinner. I'm going to cast Faye. Oh, it gets better. I'm going to cast Faye on the one who tries to assassinate the general and stop it. So that way the general sees that we're not all trying to kill him, and then we can pin it on him pin it on the guard saying that is Duchess Lilypad's guard, and that's her personal knife. Duchess Lilypad just committed treason.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love it.
All right.
See,
I was gonna say, Lightning's not the most unbiased source here.
yeah, so I saw the picture of the Duchess. She's kind of cute, yeah. But I can see it.
Alexandra knows why I hate Billy so much. But why are we trying to kill her?
What do you mean?
Like, why are we trying to get rid of her right now?
We're trying to get rid of her because she wants to jump the gun and start the fight before we're prepared.
Well,
She wants to kill the general.
I mean, could I just roll a sense motive just to make sure she's going to try that, or if she's willing to play ball? Because we don't even know that for sure. We're just assuming.
All you will be able to know is that she's definitely going to be hardline. We're not accepting any of your terms, and that's it. We're not joining your human community. We are standing alone.
Anyway, like I don't see why like
that will be the stance that she's taking, and that's what the stance is she's going to go into this meeting with.
Let's see. I think, because I'm thinking about Alexandrite's Resistance suggestion. I've seen the picture. Yeah, she is pretty cute. The thing is, my big thing is if I can successfully talk her into ditching the meeting. That's my big thing. Because right now.
Oh no, I want her dead.
Yeah, I kind of want her dead too, or at least removed.
Yeah.
Simply getting her to skip the.
Not removed, dead. Tortured.
If we can strip her of her power and still keep her alive, I'll settle for that. But
Humans, let them do whatever the hell they want with her. Slaughter her, torture her, enslave her.
If we manage to get a charge of treason against her, we could turn her over to the humans because she just tried to have her general assassinated when it was supposed to be a peaceful meeting.
Yeah, and I just had a thought because I'm thinking about how the entire deal with the nightmare is being able to control the things that.
Right, don't control what you can control. I get it.
Yeah. So, what if one of us were to try to control her, like to prove to her who the better is? Because my diplomacy and my intimidate are pretty high. Diplomacy is not as good as my intimidate, but my intimidate's like 12. So
What I'm going to tell you now is you will not be able to sway or change her attitude with a diplomacy roll. This is not something which is going to be fixed with a single dice roll.
hmm.
And she's also a worshiper of Blaze, not the Nightmare, so she won't play by your rules.
Yeah. Oh no,
I
I
could put
get
you in
that.
jail.
Hmm.
I could just stab her in the throat multiple times.
You know what? Sure, let's go with that. From the few interactions I've had with the Duchess, she's always rubbed me the wrong way.
I mean, it's not like I'm going to be caught by my identity.
Well, see, I mean, assassinations, those are all well and good, but political assassinations, those are delicious. If we strip her of her power till she is nothing more than a peasant, that is how we're really going to defeat her.
No. Never we get
I
along.
don't think these are talks we should have right before like an army invades.
I think I just turned lightning on. Oh, Milk,
Sorry,
I never saw you
Yeah.
so handsome before. Yeah, I really want to try this. I think we can pull this off. Milk Thistle, I'll tell you what, since the ship is going to be directed by Swift Gadget, everyone else can make sure that that bomb is put in place and secured. I could take the time with Duchess Lilypad and start putting those little worms in her ear to give her those thoughts. Let her know that this is going to be the only opportunity we get. If the general leaves the city before we have this opportunity, if the general leaves before we jump at the opportunity, we're never going to get it back again.
I still think this is a bad idea. It's like, oh hey, we're almost at war. Let's get rid of the president of the United States. That's a good idea.
Well, I mean, everybody's got different political opinions, but I think we can all agree some presidents just need to go.
No.
Except for Paolo, he likes presidents.
If you kill one, they usually are replaced with a worse one.
That's why we choose who she gets replaced with.
Also, I do agree with Alex. This is a terrible idea.
Oh, it doesn't matter now. We're going through this.
I mean, it's something which you guys can plan out and discuss a little bit more. As we've just gone midnight, so it's something which you guys can talk about a little bit in the chat room and see if there's anything in particular you guys work out, or is there something you want to try. I will also point, I will accept people who are try and do things behind the scenes as well.
Oh, perfect. I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah. So.
Why don't we just put her to sleep or something for a few hours? Like,
How about we put her to sleep permanently?
you're not too unbiased for this conversation.
So yeah, if you do want to try and influence things other ways, a little bit less publicly, you can, and I'll work with you to see whether you can do that, how, or at least let you know what you might have to do to achieve such a thing. But yeah, but basically, the Duchess route would be very much. You guys will eventually end up in a fight. How soon it will be, because the other members within the council, as well as the general go in, or the field marshal go in, it will be, her wrath is likely to be mitigated slightly if any of the other council members or the marshal do not show up for any reason. The more voice she is going to have, and the more fallout there will be from that meeting. So the full.
We just need to make sure that the others are actually there, and not just her and.
Yeah, if something happens and it's just her, it probably will end like worst case scenario, and I'll let you guys picture what that might be. But for the other ones there, it will obviously mitigate her wrath. And if she's removed, depending on who is next in who next takes charge depends on what might happen next.
Yeah, like I'm just worried that like we take her out and then it's like well she's not there to fight for the armor. We're now a part of the human.
I mean, depending on which individual takes more political power, let's say, depends on what might happen out of that mission. Now, you don't really know too much about the others. You know that the field marshal is likely to play the line of stalling and get into a stronger position. Then obviously you guys can work out. He's very much for. He will follow the line of basically resisting for as long as possible. At least that's what he seems to be portraying. You don't know very much about Lord Skystriker. He is a little bit of a mystery, and you don't quite know where his stance is. He seems to be. If you do know stuff.
No, I mean, I wanted to ask in character if they know where he is.
Yeah, he would be out dealing with the civilians, helping them to move closer to the centre of the thing, basically playing the face of everything, the sort of friendly face to the civilians, and keeping everyone in a more or less calm and peaceful manner as best he can.
That Shine would try to find as close as he is, and then go try to find him.
Fair enough. The other. Obviously, then you got Crystal Heart, who, I assume all of you guys know what's going on with him, and his influence is very much that of obviously from the Nightmares Temple and how the players have influenced that so far.
They know that out of character, but I believe most of that's been kept secret.
Yeah. So a lot of you probably won't know where he will go or what he will do on the political side of stuff.
I think it's actually still just a good idea to have everyone at the place anyway, because that will buy more time for us to, have them bicker amongst themselves in front of the general and, actually like buy time before there's an actual decision.
Yeah. But like I said, that's the gist of what you, as I would say, characters would know.
The counselors are bickering in front of the enemy general. That is seen as a weakness because there's no unification among them.
Yeah.
Yes, but we want them to think we're weak anyway, because that's when we're dragging our armies in. So
we want them to think we're weak, but we don't want to actually be weak. There's a difference. So that's why I say we charge Everheart with treason. That way there's unification saying that she no longer has any political power here in Dojotown.
Yes, because getting rid of one of our main generals is a sign of strength.
She's not a general, she's a counselor. And not a very good.
She's one of the main counselors, so she must be doing something right.
Most of what she's doing right is hereditary.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. Like, do we know if this is all you're not according to power in this thing, right?
The only thing you have noticed in regards to power changing is one of the council members was killed in the incident in the black market. He has not been replaced, as far as you can tell, so you don't quite know what's going on there. Also, one of the older council members died, and that did fall to his son. Yeah, son. So there was at least some hereditary downward with that in regards to it. But you don't really know the how this council works fully on a political scale and how members join or leave or are replaced.
That is also a thing. We've essentially killed 2 other council members, so I think having them drop like flies is not really a great thing right now.
I disagree. What's happening is power is being consolidated, and we're controlling we are controlling the flow of that consolidation to those who we have influence over. At least Milk Thistle is in the background.
He's evil.
I mean, that's true.
Only a little bit. Only a little bit.
You're going to break Nightshine's heart one day.
Then he will scoop it out and eat it.
I'll make it up to Nightshine when this is all over. I'll droop his snoot, and then I'll send his wife a lovely gift basket.
I don't think that will revive the people you killed.
I mean, why would you?
A big part of his philosophy is don't kill what you can control. If you can't control it, then it's nothing more than an obstacle to be removed.
So you couldn't control that old man?
Honestly, no, because he was senile.
You couldn't
How dare
control
he?
He did good work, but he became a liability, so younger blood needed to take command.
Yeah, have you ever tried to help a senile person before this? Just out of curiosity.
not a senile one, but
I've had to help out one, and it was not easy because they kept the way that it was their God, come on.
We don't need to go too personal
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
but in regard, you can still just go like, oh hey, mind control spell, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure he doesn't have a good will save.
It turns out he doesn't. You are correct.
Well, didn't.
So basically what Milk Thistle's ultimate goal here is to gather, more influence and control over the ebb and flow of the political and power spectrum within Everglow. He does want to reunify the nation, bring everyone together under a single banner, and drive off the invaders. He wants the Fae to be strong once again like they used to be.
So you're gonna make the Galactic Empire here?
Not necessarily. His main goal in life is to establish order, the way the Nightmare sees fit. It doesn't necessarily matter who is in control, as long as there is order. Any amount of chaos that makes it difficult for people to work and for things to be out of control, that's what he's fighting against. So honestly, I do think if we follow through with my plan of pinning treason on Duchess Lilypad, we can remove her. Either put her in prison, have her killed off, turned over to the humans for punishment. Once she's removed, we will consolidate power between only 2 council members, one of which has direct control over the city guard. And we have direct influence with the field marshal. The field marshal has stated that he's not really interested who's in charge. He's simply interested that someone is trying to finally reunify the empire. That's the whole reason he's here.
I think that's something you really want to say in character, outside of character.
I can certainly bring that up next session, if that'll help.
In character, I guess, but I just think Nightshine as Alex will say no to you.
Okay. Well, Nightshine, what is your goal? What's your motivation?
No, it's a secret right now.
Okay, fine. Keep your secrets.
Secrets never fun. Secrets hurt someone.
Let us have a very good plan.
You should share your plan before they start conflicting with other plans.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not something you should know, so I won't tell you.
I don't think you're telling the truth.
I choose to disbelieve that, Nightshine.
Okay.
Alright. I think we're probably going a little bit round in circles here.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I will stop us here and bring the session to an end. Um, Obviously, anyone who wants to bring anything to me between sessions, please do so. And next session, what we will do is the stuff with the ship won't take too long. With the meeting, as it's going to be a lot of NPCs talking to each other, I'll just give you a basic rundown of what actually happens rather than me talking to myself, because I don't like doing that. So you get an idea of kind of what goes on if you are present in some way. At this point in time, no one has been directly invited to take part or be in the room as this happens. The closest somebody's going to get currently is a Milk Thistle, who's going to be in the catering department.
I did ask if we could participate.
Oh, who did you ask? Sorry.
I think that when the meeting happens, Berg is going to be running guard duty both inside and out, just to be sure.
What was that, Nightshine?
We did ask if we could participate and Field Marshal was okay with it.
Okay.
I had assumed we would be there since we were.
Yeah, you wouldn't be.
Like the spokespeople for.
Yeah, you wouldn't be at the table. You could potentially observe, but you wouldn't be at the table to talk, because this is now the important people doing the talking.
We are the important.
Yeah,
We're the
exactly. Yeah, I mean, I didn't see Duchess Lilypad going out and doing any of the fighting or taking care of the diplomatic stuff.
Yeah, my goodness. Duchess Lilypad is like, ooh, I'm a council member. I'm going to talk and say what's what. No. Somebody ought to commit treason for her.
But yeah, so it's mostly going to be them talking to each other. As like I said, now it's them sitting down doing the talking. They will be doing the discussions rather than letting you guys have your influence. Because your chances to influence the NPCs are before they get to the table, or making subtle suggestions or changes when you were meeting with the Sir Richard. Or
before you say.
Yeah, well, basically, while you guys, because you could have, if you wanted to, you could have gone into that meeting when you first said it, say, yes, we completely agree to your terms to surrender ourselves to the humans. We are going to select this person to be the leader, and gone with that. I mean, that would have you completely ignoring the council's wishes and trying to basically do a coup with the general. Technically speaking, that is a route you can take with this. It's a crazy one, but it's there.
Yeah, we ain't about that.
Yeah, I know.
We're not going to lie over and let some, foreign dictatorship come into our land and tell us how to pay our taxes.
Pretty much.
That's not what we're.
But yeah, that's the sort of stuff you can where you would influence things. So that's why I'm saying you've got a chance to influence what potential happen in this before the meeting happens. Once they sit down and have the meeting, there will be certain things that will potentially happen. So unless you want to have some sort of influence on it for things to push one way or the other, then you'll need to do it beforehand rather than wait at the meeting, because you're not going to have your chance at the meeting.
I think there's a perfect opportunity to push things in the right direction as they're marching around the city.
That is, that's again not at the meeting, so yeah, you can throw influences at things.
Yep, I like that idea. Okay, I know what I'm doing.
Alright, guys. Any final questions, comments, queries?
That's what I can think of right now.
None for me.
that I can think of.
No, that's fine. All right. So, like I said, next session we will start off with that. If there is anything what needs to happen with anybody at next session, we'll probably do with that. Then we do with the flying city, the flying ship, and delivering the bomb, and then we will do the meeting, or lead up to the meeting, depending on what happens. Either it will be good, bad, or it will just go up in flames and it will all be atrocious. But either way, we'll have fun.
Yeah. I mean, this has been a lot of fun as is. Like, I've never had the opportunity to play a character who went from passive aggressive to aggressive only when he needs to be.
But yeah, like I said, there's lots of opportunities here for you guys to move things in certain ways. So I just wanted to make sure you were fully aware of what you could do, because that's before the meeting is when your chance to influence it, not during this meeting. All right.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Good time that we've had by all, especially Milk Pistol.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll finish here. So if people want to say goodbye to those on stream who have, if they've lasted this long.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Goodbye, guys.
End stream.